welcome everybody to a Thursday night edition of Friday Night Football on TCI Channel 38, Family Ties Production. And Jess Medina on camera, and this is Cy Robinson along with TJ Rubley. And TJ, you're not going to be with us too much longer before you head to the World League, but we'll talk about that after a bit. And we got kind of a wacky MAC this year. What do you think?
We really do, and it's the same old MAC. You've got 4 or 5 teams, and really nobody's out of it. I think you can afford to lose 3 games this year and still have a shot at the playoffs, depending on what else happens around the state.
It sure seems that way. There's only one team, I think, that hasn't won a game this year, and they are not losing it. I'm talking about Central High School. They're in every game they've played, so it's really a tight league this year. We've seen some great ball games.
Oh yeah, we've seen some defensive struggles, some offensive shootouts like we saw West and Bettendorf last week, and really some crazy finishes. And the reason why I say crazy is the kids are continuing to play for the entire game, and they've come up with some 2-minute drives and a lot of things, run backs for touchdowns and everything, and it just makes an exciting time. And I'm having a great time doing this my first year out. So
that's great.
On one hand, I'm anxious to get to Germany. On the other hand, I don't want to quit doing this either.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, we're going to miss you, but that's, again, that comes later with the big cake we got for
you. That's right.
I'll tell you what, talk about records now. We got Burlington tonight, comes up here on a Thursday. They bring a 3-1 in here. They won close games. Davenport North 2-2. They got a slow start versus Clinton. Not a very good game that first outing, but they're improving each week. And if they could go out of here tonight 3-2, I'll tell you what, this league would be in a turmoil.
Well, I agree with you. And you talked about they started slow, and then they made a quarterback change with Ben Graw, and he's just come in and was really hot against North Scott in the fourth quarter, threw 2 touchdowns, I believe 160-plus yards.
Correct.
And has really led North to a 2-0 record throughout his starting tenure. And if he can continue to keep that momentum going and get his players to believe in him, you're right. North becomes a player in this league and has a chance to go to the playoffs.
You bet.
Burlington, on the other hand, 3-1. And you really have to think in this conference that's an outstanding job because they do use the frequent flyer miles quite a bit. They're constantly driving back and forth to Davenport and then going up to Clinton and Bettendorf from Pleasant Valley. So they're on the road quite a bit. And to keep your stamina up that long with traditionally players that go both ways is a credit to them.
Exactly right. All right, here's Matt Springsteen bringing the ball back for Burlington, and he'll fumble the ball, and I think North's going to get an early break here, TJ. It looks like number 55 on the ball for Davenport North is Derek Taylor recovering a fumble, so an early break for the North Wildcats here tonight, and they're going to take it over on that's J.R. Taylor, not Derek Taylor. J.R. Taylor, number 65, and they're going to take it over on the Burlington 33-yard line to see what they can do.
Oh, that's an outstanding break for North, Coach, and we always talk about teams coming in on the road, and we know Burlington's traveling tonight. You can't turn the ball over when you're on the road in the MAC, and North has to capitalize right here.
That is a fact. All right, Big Jimmy Quick at center, brings them out. Here's Ben Graw. The quick pitch is out to Gant, and he's going to dazzle him with a little footwork there for about 3 yards. And about the 30.
We all know Ben Graw, as we said, has come in and sparked this team, but really Gant is the man, and he's what's carrying this team. He's an outstanding runner, and you'll see some exciting plays from him tonight. And really, he's one of those runners that's going to get stronger as the game goes on.
I think so too. Excuse me. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Coach.
I started talking about Bobby Warren a minute. Now Bobby had 3 touchdowns last week in a big win against Bettendorf. So we'll see what happens. Here's Graw giving the Gant right up the middle, and there's nothing there. Burlington huge right up the middle with their 3 down tackles, averaging about right around the 280 mark probably.
Yeah, they're a big football team, and they're going to need every bit of that size tonight, starting off with a turnover here in North's end zone, or North's end of the field. But outstanding play by Trent Cooperman there, the inside linebacker, just really made a nice play on Gant.
Okay, 3rd and about 6 coming up. Graw under center. Here's a little inside trap move, and there's not much going on right there. Pretty well defended by Burlington. It looked like maybe number 72 for the Bloodhounds. Greyhounds, excuse me. Just the Hounds. We'll call them the Hounds.
That's right. I believe that was Brian Sadler there, Coach, and he's a guy that's going to go both ways, and he's going to stay out there a long time. But as you talked about, he's some of that beef at 6'2", 270.
Right.
He's a big kid, and he's probably going to make his force known tonight. North, this is a key 4th down for him already. We're talking about being 2 minutes into the game. We're already talking about a key 4th down.
Exactly right. Exactly right. They would have liked to got some points on the board here, I'm sure. All right, we got a slot left. Here's a bootleg to the left side. Graw throwing it out, and it's almost picked off out there by Chris Lyons, the strong safety from Burlington, and that's going to bring up a first down for Burlington. So Davenport North blanked on that first possession, kind of blew an opportunity there.
They sure did, and when you're playing a good 3-1 team on Burlington, when they're coming on the road, you really need to take advantage of that. That was a great play there by Brad Rosenberry, the outside linebacker, defensive end for Burlington. Did a great job of forcing Graw to get rid of the ball too soon. He had a receiver open if he could have laid it high over the strong safety. He wasn't able to do that. Consequently, North gave up the ball, and Burlington takes over here at the 28.
Exactly right. Jesse Halen, the quarterback, and Ephraim Twilley. We'll hear a lot more about him this year. This is the give to number 6 for Burlington, Dwayne Osborne, a wingback.
Well, Coach, and we've seen, mostly Assumption in this conference run these double wings.
That's
with
right.
Traps and counters, and I've never seen Burlington play before, but if their offensive game plans, what we just saw there with a 7-yard gain on first down, it's going to be a long night for North trying to decipher all the backfield action.
That's right. They like to run a lot of dive, give to the man coming around, and they can give to any one of those 3 people, plus boot off of that. So there's a lot of offense from that little formation right there. All right. Here's Halen, that quarterback. I formation. Here's the give to Twilley, I believe. Up the middle, and he's got some room. I don't know how he got out of the room, but he's off and running down to the 30, 20, and 10, and he's gonna score all the way from the Burlington 35-yard line. That's a 65-yard run for the touch by Ephraim Twilley, the number 2 running back in the league this year so far. Here's Halen, that quarterback. I formation. Here's the give to Twilley, I believe. Up the middle, and he's got some room. I don't know how he got out of the room, but he's off and running down to the 30, 20, and 10, and he's gonna score all the way from the Burlington 35-yard line. That's a 65-yard run for the touch by Ephraim Twilley, the number 2 running back in the league this year so far.
Well, Coach, that was just an isolation play up the middle. I think you see the Dallas Cowboys run it 30 times every Sunday, and what they do is they send the fullback in on the middle linebacker, and he kicks him one way or another, and Twilley's got to read his block. Really ran right into the back of the fullback, it appeared there, and the pile really never wrapped him up. He bounced off the pile, spun out of there, and just showed his speed, sprinting for the remainder of the 50 yards down the sideline. Outstanding run.
It really was. There was one defender had a chance maybe to knock him out of bounds to 10 and couldn't get the job done. So here's the extra point try by number 81, Sean Lyons from Burlington. 6-0 with 9:08 to go. Here's the try for point, and it's good. So with 9:08 to go in the first quarter here at Brady Street Stadium in Davenport, Burlington takes a 7-0 lead, and Burlington appears to have a player down, and we'll take a break at this time until we figure out who it is. It appears to be number 51, Dwayne Hartman, the Burlington center.
And that could be a key loss for them. We know the running game is going to be powerful for them and strong for them tonight. If they lose their center, which is usually the trigger man of the offensive line, it might be a long night for the Burlington Greyhounds. But I tell you what, Coach, after fumbling the opening kickoff, staring down North with the ball inside the 30 and able to stop them and then come back and score a touchdown in the first quarter, that's got to be an outstanding swing of momentum for the Burlington Greyhounds here.
Yeah, I'd say they rallied nicely away from that.
Oh,
all right,
really
while we got the injury down here, Rube, we'll take a little break.
All righty.
All right. Okay, TJ, Burlington player must have just got lights knocked out a little bit. That was number 51, Dwayne Hartman, and he trots off the field in good shape. He's going to be all right.
It looks like he's going to come back in, and as we talk, that's a key for their offensive line and that running game that they have. It looks like, Coach, that they're going to be very tough to defend as many backs as they send, moving counter directions and diving, and then, as you said, bringing the wingbacks through on counters and traps. And we saw Assumption doing it, and they do it so effectively. And I haven't seen Burlington play, but being 3-1, you have a feeling that they're a very disciplined team as well.
I believe so.
It looks like North is going to have a tough time deciphering how all these counters and traps are going to come at them.
Okay, Ross Rickard, the kicker, and it's going to be taken by Gant at the 5, and he's up to the 15, 20, and runs into a wall at about the 22-yard line. So the Wildcats will take over 1st and 10 on their own 22-yard line.
Now, this is a key series for Ben Graw. He's a junior quarterback, and he's got this team playing well, and this is a good series for them. Worst case scenario here, get a few first downs and play the field position game. You are at home, but more importantly, you need to get some good things happening to you. Anytime you're a young quarterback, you need good things happen to you, because then it's almost as if actions speak louder than words, and your teammates will follow you.
Exactly right.
Whereas a senior, sometimes you can tell them to get going, and they'll follow you based on words before actions. But juniors mostly have to do it first.
That's true. Okay, Gant and Warren. Here's the pitch to Gant. Warren gets a block out in front. Not too bad. Gant sidesteps and gets a few yards. Pretty good run there by Kerry Gant.
It really was a good
30-yard line.
That was a very good run, Coach, and you saw that he can change direction quickly. The only thing I would like to say to him if he's watching this, please, son, keep your shoulder pad level lower, because now you'll run through those tackles and you won't let so many people hit you, because the higher you are as a tailback, the more hits you take. And by deductive reasoning, the more hits you take, the less you play.
That's right. That's the sorer you are.
That's right. This is a collision game. So if he stays lower, he's the one that's going to give the punishment instead of receive it.
That's a fact. All right, 2nd and 2. Here's the give to Bobby Warren around the left side, and there's no room, but he's going to turn around and come the other way, and he's going to get a first down out of this room, I think, over here, going out of bounds at about the 33. And there's a heads-up running by Bobby Warren. Runs into a pile on the left side, comes back to the left or right side, and gets the first.
And that's a 10-yard gain, Coach. It seems like it's only a 3-yard rush, but that's really a 10-yard gain, because it should have been a 7-yard loss. And a la Barry Sanders, he has some of the most exciting 3-yard runs you ever see in football.
Right.
We might have saw one of the most exciting ones in high school we'll ever see right there.
Bobby Warren is a tough young man. I got him in gym class. He's a lot of fun. All right, Jimmy Quick, the center, brings them out. Here's Ben Graw under center, split backs, little inside counter. Not much going on there, but that's kind of a keep you honest play.
I agree, and they've been running the BIM sweep, or however you want to call it, the old Green Bay Packers sweep, split back sweep, and that was just a counter off it. You fake the sweep and you bring your fullback or lead back through it. And really, North has 2 tailbacks. They don't really have a true fullback.
That's true.
Both these guys can carry the football, and both these guys are better runners than they are blockers. So, you know, when you run the inside traps like that, there's always a chance for a big play to squirt.
Just a little opening is all they need. All right, Burlington in their 52 with corners. Here's a little quick pass to number 83, Eric Hollowell, the tight end, and Eric was open. He just didn't get the handle on it.
No, he sure didn't. And all that was just a little dive option pass, and Ben Graw just fakes the dive, and just as a linebacker, the strong side linebacker comes up to stop the fullback, he reaches up and throws it to the tight end. Really made a nice throw, and most coaches will say take a little bit off that one, but I disagree, because then you let the safety come into play and also let the linebacker come into play. Sometimes you have to expect your tight ends to make a tough catch, and that was a play where unfortunately Hollowell just didn't come up with it.
All right, unbalanced line, trips. Here's pressure, and he's going to be sacked big time back there. And the sack took place by Justin Mark.
Oh, that was a great job. Justin Mark was free off the backside edge, and it looked like there was a screen set up. It looked like Ben Graw was dropping back deeper than normal. He was on the 7, 9, 11 step drop, which usually doesn't go with the passing game much, and he just couldn't get the ball off before he was sacked. And I'm sure the North coaches would like to say, let's try to throw that ball away and prevent the loss and play field position ball. But if you don't see the guy from the backside, it's awfully tough to do.
That's right, and I don't think he saw him coming either, but nobody they just had too many hats over there to cover. Looked like the defensive end was able to make the play. All right, here is Andy Robinson back to punt. And fair catch signaled and taken, the ball taken at the Burlington 38-yard line, and that is Dwayne Osborne, the fine wingback for Burlington. So good field position on that exchange for Burlington.
Really good, Coach. And I don't mind Osborne, and he might have gotten a signal from a coach. I don't mind him fair catching the ball there. And we saw that there was a lot of running room for him, but still, that's a heads-up play. You're on the road, and let's play field position ball. You're going to get the ball roughly around the 40-yard line, which even if you punt it back to him, still puts North in a bind.
Right.
So I don't mind fair catching that ball at all. I believe that's a nice, smart, conservative decision.
And in watching the tape Sunday, he may kick himself in the head for not running it. But anyhow, here's Twilly, and Robert McCready almost got the handoff right there.
Boy, that was a great play.
Step up by Robert McCready.
It really was. And the one thing I know, Coach, if the defensive linemen for North are coming off the ball that hard, that's great for them to seize the line of scrimmage. But as we see so often with Assumption, you have to wonder if the trap isn't coming back his way soon.
If he's
going to get up the field that quickly, you have to think there's going to be an inside trap that's going to trap him and try to stymie his aggression.
Exactly right. Robert's come around to be a fine defensive lineman, I think. Okay, here is Nyland. The pitch to Twilly to the left side. He's got some room again out here. It brings the ball up to about the 45-yard line. And I called the quarterback Nyland, and his name is Halen. Jeez.
So, that was Adam Less on the tackle there, Coach. And he's a safety coming in, and he's going to have a big night tonight because North is lined up in what we in the NFL call a cowboy front, which is just basically 4 down linemen and 3 linebackers stacked strong. And they have 2 safeties and 2 defensive backs, which obviously they only have 7 in the box.
Right.
They're going to expect a big night out of their safeties to fill in the run game. So Adam Less has to have a big game, and he can't miss tackles as he did there.
Okay, here's Twilly again to the right side, and he's going to be close to a first down at about the 48-yard line. Tackle made by Rolando Wade, one of the outside linebackers for North.
And we talked about the defense of North is running with that 4-3 with the 2 safeties in there inside the hash, and actually with 2 steps forward, the safeties become 9 men in the box.
They do,
and it'll end up putting pressure on your corners in the play action game. Because if there's any type of play action, the safeties should step up, and it should be one-on-one to the outside with your corners. So that'd be interesting to see how the safeties for North fill the running game tonight against this trapping and countering offense by Burlington.
Exactly right. Now this is Jason Halen, the punter. This is the brother of the quarterback. And he's a left-footed booter, and that's a good kick back to Gant. Gant over his head, takes it at the 5, come up the right side, and he's going to be knocked down at about the 17-yard line by number 21, Donnie Peterson, on the specialty teams for Burlington. First and 10 North.
Coach, I think Gant violated one of the key rules of returners. With your heels on the 10-yard line, anything coming at your head or above, you're supposed to let go, but you have to like his confidence in his abilities.
That's right.
And he's just saying, hey, I can return this, and I think I'm a game breaker, and I can make a difference. And I applaud that, even though the ball didn't get back out to the 20. If he does that 5 times, I believe one of them is going to go for at least 40 yards.
I agree, and he is not one that sometimes he may take a chance like he just did and just snag the ball, and he might go 80 the next time. Who knows?
That's right. And you can't condense a player's creativity there if you expect to get all that out of him.
Okay, Ben Graw at the quarterback, and we're going to get a free 5 yards. I shouldn't say we, just because I teach at Davenport North, but anyway, the Wildcats are going to get a cheap 5 here.
That's right. I don't think TCI reaches to Burlington.
All right.
At least not the Friday night football. That's right.
Safe. All right, 2nd and 5. The right tackle for Burlington got a little antsy there. And we'll credit that to Graw for a little voice inflection. And you quarterbacks are pretty good at that.
And you have to. When you're struggling on offense, you have to do that to get good things happening to you. And you say it's only 5 yards, but it's positive. You're moving forward. And if you just think of your savings account, if it's moving forward, it's moving. And that's all you care about.
Well, I wouldn't know about that.
and running an offense is very similar with a quarterback.
Here's Graw, and really, I think that's Adam Less over there. He's got sprint speed. He just kind of looked like he threw that a little early.
He really did, and Adam Less was matched up against Dwayne Osborne, who's a running back for Burlington, so you know he has good speed as well. And I agree with you. Adam Less did a nice job of setting up the fade, and it just seems like Graw let go of it a little too quickly. What Burlington's doing is a little bit different than North. They have also a 5-2, which is 7 in the box, and they're playing 2 deep. Now the 9th people come in from the corners that are up near the line of scrimmage, and the safeties are taught to stay deep. So that's a little bit different than how North's defense is attacking Burlington's offense.
All right, here's the sweep again to the right side again, and a good defensive play there by number 19 Burlington, Justin Mark, from his defensive end position, and somebody's going to have to get that in block.
He really is, and he's had a great first quarter, and we talked about it. Gant's slow to get up, and he just took 2 extra hits there that had he been lower, in my opinion, he wouldn't have taken.
I agree.
And that's just something, I know he wants to fight, and he wants to fight with his upper body, but as a young running back, you have to fight with your legs because they're your biggest weapons.
Excellent observation, no doubt about it. All right, Andy Robinson at the right guard. We'll get these linemen in for North here pretty soon. J.R. Taylor at the left guard. And here's Graw back to throw. There's a little flare pattern to Gant, and I don't know, and it's ruled incomplete. It looked like it might have been a lateral there at first.
I thought that was a fumble as well, Coach. And one thing that I'm noticing a little bit in Ben Graw's mechanics, Coach, is that he really buries his left shoulder as he's dropping back. So it's very tough for him to see the left side of the field. It's almost as if he's turning in too much, a la trying to hit an outside fastball. He's really diving to his left shoulder down, and it's tough to see the left side of the field. And I think what happened there is he sold his left shoulder too much, and he's trying to throw the screen back to the left and wasn't able to open his hips to get the ball to Gant.
Exactly right. All right, here's Robinson for about his 3rd punt of the night, and that's going to be blocked, TJ, and that's it. Ball's in the end zone, rolling loose, And if a Burlington player gets that, that's a touchdown, and it is.
Boy, and that's Zach Hall that came in, Coach.
Man.
And what he did is he lined up on the left side of the ball, and he anticipated the snap incredibly well.
Yep.
And he stunned it on the right side of the ball, just really came in untouched and made a great job of taking the ball off the punter's foot. He didn't want the punter, he wanted the ball. And that's
right.
something that's tough to teach at this age, but he did a great job. And I didn't see who came over the touchdown exactly, Coach.
No,
did
I
you?
didn't either.
But needless to say, it's a great touchdown for Burlington and really made a great defensive stand there. And we talked about the stand already that they had with the early turnover. And they've taken a 13-0 lead, almost going to be 14 here in the first quarter. So outstanding job by Burlington coming here on the road.
Yep. Very nicely done. And it looks like Burlington has scouted North well to know to come up with that particular punt block, and it got the job done.
It really did. And
Yep.
Zach Hall really hit that on the he really timed it up very well and hit it on the run. And it's so tough. I don't think anyone touched him, Coach, because I don't think they had him accounted for.
Oh, okay. That was a kind of a weird setup there.
Yeah.
It looked like the snap was bobbled and didn't get down.
And it was basically what happened 2 or 3 weeks ago when Dallas and Philadelphia went at it on Monday night. Tom Hutton didn't get the ball down, and Bonio was going to try to kick it, didn't get it late, and Hutton ended up fumbling it away, unfortunately, for the Eagles. But right there, Halen just couldn't get a handle on it, tried to put it down late, and I believe that was his brother. No, I'm sorry, it was Sean Lyons that tried to kick it through late and really just didn't have enough on it. Once he had already stopped his momentum, just couldn't get enough leg on it.
All right, so Burlington with 3:47 left in the first quarter has just jumped out to a 13-0 lead here on a couple of North miscues, and North not taking advantage of the early kickoff fumble by Burlington, and Burlington's been in control ever since.
So they sure have, and we look at that, and instead of being 13-0, you think it'd be 13-7, possibly 7-7 at this point had North tried to convert, or North gone ahead and converted on the early turnover. They didn't. Consequently, now Gant and Warren and their two tailbacks, and Ben Graw being a young quarterback, have to step up and make something good happen here. It's still a lot of football left to play.
Oh, you bet.
And remember, you're at home, and you have the advantage.
You bet. And speaking of home, I was just checking out the old Brady Street turf here, starting to wear down in the middle. A lot of football games out here on it.
Yes, it is.
All right, here's the kick by Rickert, and that's Gant at the 5. He's up to the 10, 15, 20. Got a little running room here in the middle. Look out. Oh, he got caught, just slowed him down. He's going to be taken down at midfield. Nice return.
Really was, and we talked about how exciting he is, and you just saw it there. The more times he can touch the ball with just a bit of a crease, the more big plays that are going to happen from the North offense. So they need to find a way to get him the ball as much as they can, and they've tried early in the drives, a little swing pass, trying to run these sweeps, and just haven't been too effective in their execution. If they can continue to do it and get Ben Graw to settle down a little bit, I think they're going to have a chance and really need a big score right here.
You bet. Need to control it and take it downfield. All right, here's Jimmy Quick on the ball. Ben Graw under center. Split backs. Here's the give to Warren over the right side, and you can tell there's pads low for you, Rube, right there.
Yeah, there really was. And that's the way you need to run as a North back, especially when the holes are getting tighter. And now what Burlington's defense has done is they start off the game with a 5-2 front, which means 7 in the box, playing 2 deep. Now what they've done is they've gone to that 5-2, and they brought the safety up to make it 8 men in the box, and now they're playing 3 deep. And so what that tells the running backs is that the holes are going to be smaller. In order to be smaller, you better keep your pads low like Warren did there and really make your own holes.
Indeed. All right, little flanker formation here with split backs. And here's the give to Warren to the left side. And, oh, he fumbled the ball, and it's picked up out there by the Burlington's Dwayne Osborne, the cornerback. And there's a place where Bobby Warren tried to get an extra yard or two.
He really did. He tried to spin and drag and pull and people, and you can't fault the kid for a second effort.
No doubt about it.
Outstanding run. The only thing is some of the running backs, as you get older, will tell you, you do that with your legs, not your upper body. And if you do it with your legs, it helps you so much more because your upper body, you're going to have to swing that ball around instead of keeping it tucked and then the 3 points of pressure with your upper hand, your forearm, and your rib cage. So it's a learning. Hopefully he learns from it. Doesn't make this mistake again. But you know, a back like that is going to make up and come up with some big plays on down the game. So you can't fault him there for trying that second and third effort.
Exactly right, and he will too. He'll make amends for that before long. Okay, Burlington taking over now on the fumble here at the North 47-yard line, 1st and 10. Here is Halen dropping straight back and just ripped in there by number 83 from North, Eric Hollowell, the defensive end, or the strong safety. I guess that was a strong safety blitz.
Boy, that was a great hit. He just came in untouched on the right side of Burlington's line, and Halen didn't even see him. He was looking left. They had a pump and go. I didn't see the receiver, whether that was a hitch or an out and up. But needless to say, that was a great hit.
Sure was. And this looks like, is this?
I believe it's Warren.
I believe it's Bobby Warren, number 3, is down. And while we attend to the injury here, we'll take a little timeout. Okay, TJ, we're back. Bobby Warren is up. He's up slow, but he's coming off the field under his own power, and he's a tough kid. He'll be back.
Hey, he is, and it looks like he's wobbling a little bit, so usually that means a concussion.
Got a little headshot or something.
Yeah, exactly. A little bell rung, or either that or his wind's knocked out, and it's just too much pain in the rib cage that it's not coming back yet. But needless to say, it looks like he'll be back.
All right, Burlington, 2nd and 10. Ball's at the 47 of North, and here's the pitch to Twilly to the left side, and a good defensive play out there by Eric Hollowell, but he didn't make the play. But at least he slowed things down so the rest of the Blue Shirts could get there.
And we talked about Hollowell in North's defensive front. We talked about Adam Les, but Hollowell plays the safety opposite of Les. And what those safeties have to do is get up and really play really hard and tough. I guess they need to control the line of scrimmage and get involved in the running game. So that's something they're going to have to continue to do.
2:20 and counting in the first quarter here at Brady Street. 13-0 Burlington, and it's 3rd and 8 at the North 45. Here's Halen under center and dropping back to throw, and there is wide open out in the flat out there was number 40 for Burlington, Zach Hall, the fullback, and the ball was overthrown.
It really was, and we talked about if you go play action that there's basically one-on-one coverage with your corners and your wide receivers, and Burlington tried to exploit that with the out, had him open. There's a little too much cushion given to the Burlington wide receiver there, but Halen wasn't able to convert. A nice stop for North. They really needed that stop, and we see Mr. Gant going back, and he's an exciting player, and he needs another big run to get the ball back out to midfield for his team here.
And that young man beside him back deep is Joe Winston, and there he and Les both are sprinters off the North track teams, good tracksters. All right, here's a fair catch signal given by Gant, and the ball is going to roll into the end zone, so it'll be first down North on their own 20 with 1:56 to go in the first quarter.
And this has been a long first quarter. We've seen a couple punts, a couple turnovers, and really North hasn't gotten anything consistently going. They haven't gotten a rhythm, especially offensively, and now's a good time just to go ahead and make some good things happen. We saw the hard count at the start of the last drive, and I'm a big fan of that. Anytime you can get a cheap 5, take it.
You betcha. I agree.
And this is a time
offensive linemen love those.
Exactly. And plus it gets the defensive linemen back on their heels instead of up on their toes. But nice. It's a time for Ben Graw here just to go ahead and take his time and just make something good happen.
Okay, North's going to take a timeout. Bobby Warren's trying to get back into the game. Coach Bollock's coming on the field to meet with the Wildcats. So we'll see what the comes up with here. Bobby Warren, I believe, is going to go back into the game. Looked like number 33, Nate Jacobs, was in at one of the running backs. We'll see what happens here in just a second.
And, Bobby Warren and Kerry Gant are two players that have the physical abilities that Division I coaches are looking for. They really are built well. Gant goes 6'1" and 190 pounds, and for running back, that's a big back in high school.
It is.
And Bobby Warren is 5'11", 193, so they're almost mirror images of one another. And really what you'd like to see, and we've already talked about, pad level low, second, third effort, which we've already seen tonight. And now it's a time that they can show the intangible, and that's put the weight of the shoulders, or put the weight of the team on my shoulders tonight.
You bet.
And if they do that together, North has a chance to be successful here. We saw Lee Russell do it for the first half of the year for his Assumption team.
That's right.
And we saw Seth Holmes do it last week at Bettendorf. So if those two together can put the weight of this North team on their shoulders, step up and take the hits and give the hits and lead their team, North has a chance to beat Burlington here tonight.
You betcha. Split backs. Here's a give to Gant over the right side, and it's going to get maybe a yard out of it. Tripped up there by the looked like maybe number 72 for Burlington, Brian Sattler, the defensive tackle. Sattler going in at 6'2", 270, one of the big down interior people.
And when we talked about North really having two tailbacks, and that was an isolation play, and now you're sending Bobby Warren, who's a tailback, on a linebacker one-on-one, and you don't know if really that's your best matchup as much as sending him outside on a strong safety or an outside linebacker. So it's interesting to see North try trying to run both inside and outside.
Indeed. He's a roll right, Graw rolling right, and it's passed again. It's complete, and he's going to pick up about 5 on the play. And defender, looked like a defender number 62 was right there. Tony DeWold was right there to make the tackle.
He might be the first corner coach that I've ever seen wear the number of his 60 number. That was 62. And this is an interesting combination. He's 5'9", 160, plays offensive guard and defensive back.
Yep.
So that's a versatile individual there.
You don't see that a lot.
Boy, if he can run with a receiver, he surely can pull on a sweep, I'm assuming.
I guess he can get across the line of scrimmage in a hurry. All right, here's this trips again, trip set by North, and this is Graw back, throwing to Bobby Warren on the screen up the middle, and he's going to get the first down. Nicely done.
It really was, and Ben Graw is almost drifting too much on the screens now, Coach, because I think you called it out before before it was really developed. He needs to stop at 7 yards, and a 5-step drop normally takes him, and then stop, fake the pass, and then drift and find the screen. But all in all, good execution. Still like to see Bobby Warren sift through his deep offensive lineman and give them a chance a little more, but he's so excited to get some running room, he just took off and got the first down, which you can't fault that type of effort anyway.
That's true. I'll tell you, there were a lot of blue shirts out in front of that, and it almost looked like they got in one another's way a little bit.
It really did. I thought that was going the distance.
All right, here's Graw. Here's the pitch, and here comes the end around. Joe Winston turns the corner. He's got some room over there, and he is fast. And he's going to get about 6 yards out of that. And you can see that one coming from this side, and I'm sure they run a fake off that too. Joe Winston's got some wheels.
He sure does, and in that they ran back to Brad Rosenberry, and we saw earlier North tried to run the bootleg to him. Well, Brad stays home. We know that already, Coach.
That's right.
He's done that twice, and actually, you're right. Winston had a lot of room, but he was forced so deep in the backfield, wasn't able to turn the corner, let the rest of the Burlington pursuit catch up to him. Still a 7-yard gain, which is good for North, keeping positive things going.
Right, and we're not going to get this play off. That is the end of the first quarter here at Brady Street Stadium with the Burlington Greyhounds winning 13-0 at this point. And we'll take a little bit of a break. Back to Thursday night edition of Friday Night Football on TCI Channel 38, Family Ties Production, along with TJ Rubley and Jess Medina. North with the ball at the beginning of the second quarter. Here is Graw rolling to his right. He's got a receiver out there and threw it late, and it's picked off by Burlington, number 62. And that's Tony DeWold, I believe, picking the ball off to the outside, and a lot of running room out there.
Oh, it really did, and that's as we talked, an offensive guard / DB able to catch the ball. And,
you bet.
And really what happened, Ben Graw was rolling right, and he had Warren open in the flat. Never really got his shoulders to attack the line of scrimmage and tried to throw with his body drifted to the sideline. And anytime you do that, and I know it's a false comfort zone for right-handed quarterbacks, the ball will sail. We've seen it. The nose will stay up, and it won't go where you want to. For a young quarterback, he needs to attack the line of scrimmage, get his shoulders and hips headed downhill to make a firm, accurate throw. And it just cost him there for a big interception. They had some. All right,
first and goal. Here's the give to Twilly. I'm not sure who that was. It looked like Twilly coming around. Yes, it was, and he'll gain about 3 on the play. A nice defensive play out there, and I wasn't sure who made the tackle. Looked like maybe Derek Taylor, number 55.
And it's once again we've talked, and North has done a good job so far of containing the Burlington traps and counters, and Burlington seems to be doing it with somewhat precision, as we talked, a la Assumption, and North has really done a great job, and they need to continue here as they're facing the second and goal.
Okay, here is the give to number 40, Zach Hall, the fullback, and he's going to munch his way down to about the 1.
And that's good hard running, Coach. And I know as an old offensive lineman, you've got to appreciate that. There wasn't much there. That was just a big scrum, and he just pushed the pile ahead for 4 yards. And that's the type of running you need when you're down in this inside the goal line and when you're on the road and you're a good 3-1 Burlington team to chew up the clock. But more importantly, give them the effort and really keep the shoulder pad level low and run somebody over. And to me, I like watching people like that run the ball.
I do too. Okay, here's the give to, good defensive play. And they held him out that time. That's going to take it down to about the half-yard line. Delario Skipper made a nice defensive play there, Rube.
They really did, and that's one time Zach Hall made a great run the run before, but that time he's just really too high. Nothing he could do. Delario Skipper was able to get underneath the shoulder pads and really stop him for a no-yard gain. And outstanding stop by the North defense so far. So a key 4th and 1 coming up here.
That should fire them up a bit, and they'll be chewing some grass on this play, I'll bet you.
I agree. Coach, do you kick it here or do you go for it if you're Burlington?
I think you got a 13-point lead right here. I'd go ahead and see if I could put the kiss of death on it and just go ahead and try to finish it off. And if you get another touchdown here with this much time left, we got almost 10 and a half minutes left in the second quarter. You get a 20-0 lead at this point. You're going to see some heads go down from the blue team, I think.
I agree with that.
And I'm not saying they're going to give up, but I'm saying it's tough to get in the right frame of mind after that.
Oh, and it surely is. And I don't want to be on the fence here. And there are two ways to look at it. And I'm a firm believer in the MAC. Being on the road is a tough place to win.
You bet.
And we saw it last week with West really dominating Bettendorf for 3 quarters and just couldn't close the deal. And the same thing here. And so I would almost be tempted to kick it here, just putting us up by 2 firm touchdowns. And that's a little bit conservative. Emotionally, let's go for it.
Yeah.
But sometimes logic wins over for me. And needless to say, Burlington's going to go for it here. And it's going to be an exciting turn of events.
All right, North needs to rise here and do the job. Here's the give to Twilly, and he's going to score. And it wasn't anything to shout about, but he crossed the plane of the goal line, and we could see that from up here.
They really could, and it was just line surge by the left side of the Burlington offensive line, and I agree with you, Coach. This is the stake, and you know, you're down 19-0 from North's perspective, just into the second quarter. The good thing is there's a lot of football left. The bad thing is you're not doing too many good things at this point.
And Twilly, I'll tell you what, we talk about pads down. Twilly wasn't exactly pads down there. He was straight up in the air, and he could have been stopped there.
He could have been, but there's just so much line surge by the left side of the Burlington line, it didn't give a North defender a chance.
Exactly right. And Burlington going for 2. Here's Halen back to throw, and that's going to be caught, but it's not going to be in the end zone. So North defends against the 2-point play.
That's an outstanding job.
Yes, it was. Very good defense. Very good pass D over there.
And that could end up being key here. And the reason why I say that is instead of 3 touchdowns, now it's possibly 2 touchdowns with the 2-point conversions, of course, and a field goal. And I know we're talking a long way down the road, but I have a great respect by playing in the MAC for 3 years and also doing the commentating now that this is a crazy conference.
Yeah, it really is.
Especially when you're on the road. This is a crazy, crazy conference. So anything can happen tonight.
Well, I'll tell you what, there's a situation where I'm saying if we have a 13-point lead and we score, it's 18-0, or 19-0, I'm going to kick the extra point until they get on the board, and then I'll start worrying about 2s and so forth. But that's, again, it's down the line.
But I agree with you, because then it takes it to a 3-touchdown game if you do kick the extra point there.
And maybe they're thinking killer instinct there. I don't know, but
right. And people say, well, it's only 1 point, but in football, it's not about points; it's about scores and how many you have to get.
That's right.
And that takes it to a 4 score, as we talked about, meaning you have to score 4 times now, as opposed to 3.
All right, Burlington takes a 19-0 lead with 10:22 to go in the second quarter. So North really has to kind of get it together here, get back in this game. We got Gant and Warren is deep in the middle, and Joe Winston on the far side. Here's the squib kick, and this is going to be, that's J.R. Taylor, I believe. And he just catches the ball and goes down, and that's a smart play.
That's a well-disciplined.
For a big kid, JR's got some wheels, but there's a look of some discipline right there. JR was probably told, hey, ball comes to you, you flop on it, big boy.
That is a great disciplined play there. He didn't think, he just did what he was told, and from a coaching standpoint, you need 11 of those guys on your side.
You bet.
And right now, you have JR, obviously, who is a disciplined kid, and once again, I can't help but think that Gant and Warren have to take this game over now for these North Wildcats.
They got to rise a little bit. All right, 1st and 10 on the 34-yard line. Here's Graw under center. It's a linebacker blitzing, and this is Gant, and he's going to be brought down with about a 3-yard loss, and he really never got a chance to. As soon as he got the ball, he was tackled.
He really was, and then they tried to, North tried to pull the left guard and pull it around the corner, and really didn't get it done, and Gant got hit in the backfield, and he's down now.
Right,
And we saw him hit the ball out of frustration, and I don't know if that's frustration because he's getting tackled or frustration because he's injured, and I think obviously now it's because he's injured.
Yeah, and it could be a little bit of both. All right, well, while we see what happens here, we'll take another little break. Okay, TJ, Kerry Gant comes off the field on his own power, so he'll be back in pretty quick. All right, here's Graw, and giving it to, I believe, that might be Nate Jacobs, number 24 for North. Yes, I'm sorry, Zach Grassley carried the ball there from the right halfback spot, I believe, number 24.
That's a chance now with Gant's injury for Zach Grassley to get in.
Yeah.
He's a junior running back. He's 5'9", 160 pounds. Shows that he's a tough kid. Just lowered his head for 2 yards.
Right.
And it's good to get him inducted into how MAC play is going to be a little bit for the future. I know the backups don't get much time in practice, so it's going to be a learning situation for him as well. But a nice job coming in and making a good hard run.
Okay, 3rd and 10. Here's the trip set to the right. Bobby Warren is lone setback. Graw's back to throw, and he's throwing a bomb. And it's going to be incomplete, intended for number 33, Nate Jacobs, to split in. And incomplete, and that's going to bring up a 4th and a little more than 10.
That's Coach. That's such a tough route to run, and it's an out and up against 2 deep, and that was Matt Springsteen that was back in the secondary, and his job is to get deeper than the deepest, and he really did. Didn't bite on any of the fake, didn't bite on the rollout, just went and ran as deep as he could get, and there's really not much of a chance to throw that ball deep in that situation.
I agree. All right, 4th down. And this will be Andy Robinson back to punt. No relation. The up back here, number 83 protections, Eric Hollowell. And we'll see. There we go. He got it shored up. Here's a good punt off by Robinson. Takes a north bounce. Twilly back and fields the ball. And he is immediately grabbed by, looked like number 7, Rube DeMar Johnson from the specialty teams. And I'll tell you what, Twilly almost got through that tackle.
He really did, and he made a nice job of running. And I think we saw, as you can recall, Burlington blocked the punt before, and Robinson's really a fine punter for North. He's got a very good leg, and I think he saw a fact that he was a little bit scared there. I think he a little short-legged a little bit. But fortunately, North got the good bounce, and as you said, Twilly was able to try to cut through and actually return it for about 10 yards, which he really shouldn't have had anything.
All right, 1st down Burlington on their own 28-yard line. Little short motion to Osborne, the wingback, and he's going to be tackled hard there by number, I believe 63. That's Gant. Is that Jimmy Quick?
I believe that was Gant.
Gant and Quick both were over there. So good defensive play there for about a yard loss.
Yep. And we've noticed, Coach, we talked about how Gant and Warren need to start carrying this team. And that's an outstanding play on his part. He was injured earlier. He's a free safety here, and he really needs to come up big both offensively and defensively. If the ball is in his area, you need to feel as a North coach he's got to come down with it for you.
He's one of the spiritual leaders out there. Okay, motion across. Here's a little inside, looked like a little inside ISO of some kind, but
that was
we had 2 running backs coming at us, and the second one got it.
And the quarterback followed suit, and I don't think that was any type of quarterback trap. So that was just a mistake on Burlington. And those things seem like big mistakes, but really for Burlington, if you're going to make your mistakes on the road, the ball never hit the deck.
That's right.
It was never thrown up for grabs, and it was never laid on the carpet.
And there was positive yardage.
And there was positive
1 yard, but it's still a positive yard.
And anytime you're on the road, and we always talk about on the road in the MAC, anytime you're on the road, positives means so much.
I agree. Okay. Little slot right formation, the split in, I formation. Halen takes the snap. Here's a little quick throw to Osborne, and Osborne paid the price for being a receiver there by Adam Less. Adam Less flattened him.
It is, and that's a tough play to run against North's defense. We talked that the safeties are going to come up in any type of run fake.
That's right.
If you're going to play action, you've got to play action and throw to the outside receivers because they're one-on-one against the corners. If you play action and throw into the safeties coming up for the run game, the receivers are going to get hit hard, as Adam Less did right there.
Okay, this is Gant back deep to receive. Punting for Burlington will be number 84, I believe. Yeah, Jason Halen. And Gant will run away from it and let it dive, and that's not bad field position to the 32-yard line of North, 1st down and 10.
Yeah, it is, and Gant really didn't have a punt to handle. It was a low squibber. I think North brought the punt block, and really the punter Burlington didn't get a good foot on it, but needless to say, got a pretty decent bounce. And as we talked, I think the North coach is saying, okay, and so is the Burlington coach for all things considered.
Okay,
so
that's right.
I think both head coaches are kind of pleased on this one.
Yeah. Okay. 7:30 to go in the second quarter. Burlington leading in the game, 19-0.
And we talked, it's time for Ben Graw. We've seen him play very well throughout the MAC season, but now he really needs to put something together.
Snap is up. Here's the give to Gant over the right side. Got a little running room, and And he's going to get almost 10 out of it, Rube.
And it was really a nice job by
bet.
Gant. It was a nice job by his front line, and he really made that on athleticism. And what I mean by that is he was very high running through the holes, and usually he's not dragging anyone when he's doing it. He just made a miss. And there are two schools of thought there. You can make a miss a la Warwick Dunn, but also if you look at Warwick Dunn when he runs through a hole, his knees are only about 12 inches off the ground. So there's a little bit of difference in making someone miss when you're high or when you're low.
That is a fact. All right, second about a foot here. Here's the give to Warren over the left side. He's got plenty of room out here, and he's going to get down to the Burlington 43-yard line. First down, Wildcats.
Well, that's a nice run by Warren, and
Was.
he just got off the edge, and he got there quickly. And once again, good hard running on his part and keeping his feet churning, and nice job getting into the secondary.
You bet. All right, got a little something to get fired up here about now. Couple of good offensive series there. First down on the Burlington 43-yard line, we'll call it.
And this is a first sign of life for North.
Yeah,
They're
it
actually
is.
across the 50,
It
and
is.
they're doing things well. And now they just need to take care of the football and continue to do these things and find themselves in the end zone.
Split backs again. Here's the ISO to the right side. Gant a little bit of running room and ran pretty hard to get about a 4-yard gain out of that.
He sure did. And Burlington brought the blitz, and they were going to try to get as many people up around the line of scrimmage as they could, probably anticipating some type of trap or pull by the North offensive line to disrupt that with a blitz. But really, Gant did a nice job picking his way through it. The holes weren't very wide, and he was able to get a 4-yard gain out of it.
I'll tell you what, Bobby Warren leads that isolation way. Well, he leads it pretty well. He just knifes up through there, and
he really does, and especially because we've talked, he's really a tailback. So, I mean, for a tailback to try to do that, as any fullback will tell you, that's a tough duty.
You bet. Okay, I formation here. Slot left. Here's Graw rolling to his right. He's looking to throw the ball, and he throws it out to, we'll get the number, Nate Jacobs, number 33, and the ball was thrown behind, Rube.
It really was, and that's a tough thing, and we talked about Graw when he rolls to his right. He's not quite getting his shoulders to the line of scrimmage. Same thing, he wanted to throw it to Jacobs earlier. Linebacker was in the way. He continued on his roll, but as he did, he rolled laterally. He didn't get up the field, and he threw the ball just a little bit behind, and from a quarterback, when you're struggling, you need Jacobs to come up with the ball for you in that play, especially down 19-0. So a little better throw, a little more effort on the catch, and Northwood had a big play there.
You bet. All right, 3rd and 7. Here's Graw. Given to Warren over the left side. Bobby Warren's going to fight his way up to the first down, and Bobby Warren runs hard, and you just saw that.
It really did, Coach, and now that is what we're talking about. If you run hard and really stepping up, and there was a guy, and Gant had his block, but really didn't have him knocked down or anything, and Warren just said, the heck with it. I'm going through it, not around it, and that's what he needs right here. He and Gant both need that attitude if North's going to get out of this 19-0 hole.
Yeah, Bobby Warren got 4 extra yards there, I thought, out of
I agree.
Smaller gain. First down on a 30. Here we go. Quick pitch out to Gant. And Gant's going to spin and come up and gain about 5 yards on that play. Pretty good job by Gant there.
Really good job. He did a nice spin move, and that's his style of running. I mean, I'm used to seeing guys when they get out there, they plant the right foot and head directly north. He likes to see the defender come at him, spin away, and move forward. The good thing I like about his spin move, Coach, it's not in the same spot. When he spins, he's moving forward.
That's right.
And that's something any running back coach is going to teach him. A spin move isn't worth a darn unless you're moving forward as you do it.
Almost a 6-yard gain there, so plenty of time on the clock to get points on the board. 4:45 and running. Here's Graw, 2nd and about 5. Here's the pitch to Warren to the left side. He cuts it up inside off a good block of Robert McCready, and he's going to take the ball down to about the 13-yard line. Real good run, good play.
That's a great run. An outstanding job by North's left side of the offensive line. Burlington was in a 2-deep coverage, and what that means is that the cornerback is outside waiting for the toss sweep. And we've seen North have the last 2 plays has had good success on the toss sweep.
They sure have.
So these sweeps are going to end up being like the Nebraska sweeps, Coach, where instead of running around the end, you're going to have to stretch the end. Once you get to the hash, boom, you're going to have to hit it. And the running backs for North, I think, are starting to realize that now, and they're hitting the hole a lot quicker.
I agree. The linemen are kicking things out. They're running underneath it, and then it's working. Robert McCready, 300. Well, let's see him at 290. I know he goes 300, but he gets out there quick. Here's the give to Warren off the left side. He got a lot of room to run, and puts on a juke. Oh, no, we got a penalty on the play.
And I think it was a hold, and that might have been on Gann. And, and Gann had the outside linebacker. It was the same hole. Warren just lowered his head for 4 yards earlier, and I think Gann just held the guy trying to hook him. And that's a tough time. I mean, you have to applaud his effort. He's trying to block for his buddy, but that's just such a key penalty for North when they had so many good things happening to him on this drive.
It really was. Well, if they can overcome this, they've still got plenty of time. 4:20 on the board. It's going to be 1st and 25. Bobby Warren, nice run there, but Gant flagged for a little hold job out there. From the spot, it's going to make it, about 1st and maybe 19, 20?
And it's going to be tough for North to come out of this, and they need Graw to do it down here in the red zone, and he hasn't been too effective so far, and he needs something good to happen, a nice completion, and get something near the goal line.
You bet. Let's see what happens here. Rolling to his right. There's a receiver wide open. Graw throws it a little late, but it's going to be overthrown. And that was close, Rube.
Oh, it really was, and he did a nice job, and I agree with you. He held the ball a little too long, but really made a nice throw nonetheless. He put it in a place where his receiver could get it or nobody. Unfortunately for North, it was just about a foot overthrown.
Yeah, and here's the next unfortunate thing. Number 80 is not in our program.
He is not depicted in our program this evening. But anyway, Graw, once again, I would still like to see him get his shoulders headed toward the line of scrimmage a little more, Coach, and then he'll get a spiral back on his ball, and the ball will go nose down as it comes to the receiver instead of fluttering a little bit, staying nose up, which has a tendency to drift.
You bet. That's a nice pattern, nice play. Just slightly overthrown. Here's Gant to the left side on the ISO, and he's got some room. Very impressive run by Gant there.
Now that's the type of running Cary Grant needs to run on every play.
I
that was one move, and he hit the hole, and he was decisive about it. Tried to split backs, lower his shoulders. That's the type of run that the coaches and the scouts that are here at Division I level tonight are going to look for, and that's the reason that's what they came out to see tonight. They didn't come out to see a guy dancing around. They came out to see a guy hit a hole, shoulders low. You're the biggest guy on the field. Drag people with you, and he did that right there.
Good play. All right, 3rd and, well, they got the penalty now. We got the penalty yardage back, so it's going to be 3rd and 10. Here's Graw, split backs. Here's the give to Gant to the left side. He's got some room. Now that's Warren. I'm sorry. Bobby Warren down to about the 3-yard line on a nice run. Nice blocking.
Boy, it really was. And, Coach, I think what's happening now with North, number one, Gant and Warren are lowering their head and they're being men, and they're running like men.
That's right.
The second thing is now they're realizing the sweep is not designed to go outside. With the 2-deep defense of Burlington, the first quarter they were being stubborn, trying to break it around the corner. Now they're understanding once they get to the numbers, you plant the left or right foot, depending on which way the sweep's going, and you head north and south, and they're doing it right now and getting big chunks of yardage.
Exactly right. 3 minutes left here in the second quarter. 19-0 Burlington. North threatening from the 3. 1st and goal. Here's the give to Warren to the left side, and he's going to be brought down on about the 3-yard line. And somebody was in early and grabbed the shirt sleeve, and the shirt sleeve, and that kind of slowed them down.
And it was the right inside linebacker, Burlington. I don't know who it was, Coach, but what happened there is we talked. Once again, Burlington took away the outside sweep, but that inside linebacker had forced the sweep outside into the corner, waiting for Warren there, and Burlington was able to defense the sweep. That's the first time we've seen in this entire drive that they've been able to shut down that sweep.
Exactly right. All right, 2nd and goal. 2:16 and moving on the clock. Split backs for North, flanker right. Here's Graw with a quick pitch out to Gant, running the right side. He turns it up to the inside, and he's going to pick up a yard maybe. And there wasn't much running room there. He's probably lucky he got that yard.
Yeah, there really wasn't, Coach. And that's another thing. He might have had a little more real estate there had he anticipated the block from his wide receiver on the corner and really tried to cut it up. I think he was trying to take it all the way around the end. And when you're a talented kid, that's your natural instinct.
You bet.
But once again, we talked. That sweep, once it gets out to the corner, Burlington's winning.
Burlington, excuse me, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, Burlington wins once the sweep gets to the corner. If the corner, if it doesn't get to the corner and North can turn it up, North wins.
All right, 3rd and goal from about the 2. Here's the give to Warren, and he's going to be brought down. He's going to go for about a 2-yard loss probably. Big number 69 for Burlington brought him down, and that is Brad Rosenberry, the 195-pound defensive end.
And he's played a great game.
He has. Yeah, he
Rosenberry, he's contained well. He's forced some overthrows, and he's forced a reverse out and around and made a huge play on Warren there. And that's the type of things I like to see by Warren and Gant. 1-on-4. He went into that hole completely contested by the right side of the Burlington defense and really lowered his head and said, come on, let's go.
Yep.
And I like that. And that's what you need here. And if you're North, no big deal. You'd like to get a touchdown inside the 5, but needless to say, we talked. You're still 2 touchdowns and a field goal behind. You get the field goal here, and you're still sitting decently, I think.
Exactly right. Well, we'll see what Andy Bullock's thinking about here. We'll stay on with it, and
but there's the other side of that too, Coach, and I hate to be on the fence, you know.
Yeah,
but when your quarterback's not playing particularly well, you get inside the 5, you might want to take a crack at it.
Yeah.
Let your big horses run. They've been running well here in the late second quarter, and see if they can't get to the edge and try to run someone over for a touchdown. But we see that, you know, part of that sweep we've talked about, that the corners from Burlington are staying outside, forcing the sweep to cut up in. The reason why there's been a lot of traffic now is because once you get to the goal line, those safeties don't have to respect any field anymore.
That's right.
They can get the running game more in the design of Burlington's defense, and they're there to make the second and third hit, whereas before Warren and Gant are breaking through that first wave, and they have some running room before the safety hits them. Now the safety's hitting them almost simultaneously as the linebackers and defensive tackles.
Exactly right. All right, 4th down. Let's see what Coach Bullock comes up with here. I formation, slot left. Here's Graw. Here's a little bootleg, and he's got a receiver, but number 69 from Burlington, and there we go again. We mentioned Rosenberry before. He's played a super game and did it again right there.
Oh, he really did. And he's not buying on any type of play fake.
No, he's not.
And that's an outstanding job on his part. And North wanted to try to get Rosenberry. I don't quite know why.
Yep.
He's been really good, and he stayed at home, and he hasn't bid on the sweeps at all. And North elected to roll to him probably because of the quarterback's preference of which way to throw. But needless to say, outstanding stop by Burlington. And
it was.
And if you're North, you're fighting, trying to drag your head here.
Well, we'll see what happens on that and see what that does to the mind of North High School. And we got to hold them here defensively. Here's a give down there to, looks like number 40, Zach Hall, the big fullback from Burlington, and he's going to get up to about the 22-yard line.
Well, that's good hard running by Zach Hall, and really it was kind of a trap dive type thing, and really an outstanding run on his part. He had to hurdle an offensive and defensive lineman and still got into the secondary and made a really good run out of it.
6-yard gain. It'll be 2nd and 4. There's 35 seconds on the clock and running. And Burlington will be very content just to run the ball out here and take a 19-0 lead into halftime.
Especially on the road, as we always talk.
Yeah, that's right. All right, here's Halen. Here's the give to, looked like Hall again, the fullback.
And he's hitting the hole hard, and that's the type of running you like to see out of a fullback, especially. And the more the game goes on, the more he's going to become a factor, because Burlington's going to try to chew the clock up against North. I think Burlington's seen how explosive North can be with their 2 tailbacks, and if they can keep them off the field, I think it benefits Burlington.
Exactly right. It looked like Ben Becker, number 35 there, made a good play, and that's going to take it into halftime. Rehashing the scoring of the first half, it's a 19-0. Here at Brady Street, the first half, and with 9:08 remaining in the first quarter, it was Twilly going 65 yards, and the point after touchdown by Sean Lyons, making a 7-0. With 3:47 to go in the first quarter, there was a blocked punt for a TD for Burlington, and we need to get the name of that player sometime.
That was Zach Hall.
Yeah, okay, all right, very good. Extra point was no good, making it 13-0, and then with 10:22 to go in the second quarter, Ephraim Twilly from the 1 dove it in down here on our right side, and that made the score 19-0, and they tried for 2, and it wasn't good. So what are you going to tell them at halftime, Roop?
Well, if I'm the North Wildcats, what I say if I'm Warren and if I'm Gant, I'm starting to run the ball well, the line's starting to play well, and anything. What I used to like to say to myself, especially my senior, my junior year I was a little too immature, but my senior year, what I like to say to myself in this situation is, I'm going to show my teammates, my fans, myself, and everyone around the conference that I am a quality back. And I'm going to run hard, and I'm going to punish people the rest of the game. And I don't care what the score is, because all I can do is go forward and run people over. That is my job tonight.
That's right.
If he ducks his head and tanks his head, all the people that came out to see those two tonight, they're really going to lose a lot of stock. And I'm talking about recruiters and scouts that are here from universities, because there are quite a few that are going to watch these guys. And if I'm them now, the scouts don't care about the score. They care about competitors and competition. And they want to see guys that are willing to fight to the end. And if I'm the two backs at North, that's the only way they're going to get back in the game.
Excellent observation, and I agree totally with you. We got some fine running backs on the field tonight with Twilley and Warren and Gant and even Osborne, a wing back for.
Sure, and Hall's a tough fullback we've seen for Burlington as well. And if you're Burlington, excuse me, Coach, but if you're Burlington, you just say, hey, we're on the road against a tough North team that's 2-2. We're up 19-0, had a couple breaks go our way early. Let's ride this wave and get out of Dodge and have a good day at school tomorrow.
Right. I think we saw how North was able to move the ball in a short period of time down the field. They just couldn't put the ball in. So.
I agree, and that's usually, and that sometimes that symbolizes a young quarterback. We saw some chances where Ben Grawl had a chance to do some things for his team and forced an interception in, and really he just needs to work on his mechanics a little more when he's rolling out and sprinting out. And it's a nice job of the North coaching staff to get him to get on the corner, to let him see things more clearly. And then we saw he made a nice throw in the corner of the down to the 1 yard line, just a little bit overthrown. So he needs some good things happening to him in this second half, a la his fourth quarter at North Scott, in order for this North team to get back in it.
All right, let's let the band take over, and let's take us a little break.
All righty.
All right. Welcome back from halftime, everybody, on Channel 38, TCI, Cablevision. This is Family Ties Production. Jess Medina and TJ Rubley, and I'm Cy Robinson. And TJ, Burlington has a 19-0 lead at halftime. We saw North with moments of moving the football, but couldn't put any points on the board.
Really couldn't. They got the early turnover off the Burlington opening kickoff fumble. They weren't able to come up with any points there, and then right before halftime, they had the ball inside the 5 yard line or at the 5 yard line, and they weren't able to come up with the points again. So if you're North, you know you can move on this Burlington defense. You just need to have to put it in the end zone somehow, some way.
Exactly right. And we saw the opening kickoff. Burlington fumbles the ball. North takes it over and doesn't get a first down out of it even. So.
Exactly. And we talked about it. I think they had the ball on the maybe 27 or so. And I don't know if North's kicker could have made it or not, but had they been able to get in the field goal range there and put the ball in the end zone right before halftime, we're looking at a 19-10 ball game.
Exactly right. Well, North will take the second half kickoff. I believe they won the toss at the opening toss and deferred, and so they will receive the second half kick. We see the captains going out now. Talk things over a little bit. Robert McCready, number 73, Bobby Warren, number 3, number 1, Kerry Gant, and number 23, Tony Warren, the great cornerback for North. And we'll see what happens here in the second half. They got to get the ball moving, that's for sure.
They really do, and I think we saw the North's running game started to come into sync late in the second quarter there with their BIM sweeps, handoff sweeps, or toss sweeps. Needless to say, they were hitting great creases up the seam, and Burlington was able to defense it by bringing blitzing linebackers. And it'll be interesting to see, Coach, if that trend continues or how each team will adjust to that.
Exactly right. Well, they're shaking hands out there, and the ball's going to be teed up here, and we're going to get underway here in just a second as the North Wildcats bring on the receiving team. Coach Andy Bullock, 2-2, off to a pretty good start this year. Really, I've seen North play. This is the second game I've seen them play this year. They did not look real sharp against Clinton in their opener, but I think they've improved each game. As I talked to Coach Bollock, he likes the improvement, and that's what you like to see from week to week when you're coaching. I know that as a former coach.
I agree with that, and you look down here on this program, and they've got a good blend of seniors and juniors, so you can't really call them a young team.
Yeah.
But they do have some young people at key positions, and mainly Ben Graw at quarterback.
At QB, right.
And he really needs to come up big, and we saw they were 2 for 10 in the first half, and with 2 sacks. And out of 12 attempts in the passing game, North was only able to come up with -7 yards.
Exactly
and
right.
And that's with an interception, and that's very tough to win. And so from a junior quarterback stance, don't try to throw the 21-point touchdown. Take the passes that they give you, get some completions on the board, and get your team behind you, and now your guys will start making tough catches that can bail you out of a hole here.
And you've talked about the yardage after the catch. What do they call that? Yak, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
And how important that is. But you got to complete it first. Okay, we're ready to kick it off here in the second half. And this is Ross Rickard kicking, and one of the up people takes the ball. That's number 83 for North, Eric Hollowell, the tight end, and he's going to bring it back up to about the 37-yard line.
He was slammed to the ground by Zach Hall there. We talk about staying low, and he wasn't able to do that.
Yep.
Zach Hall kind of ingrained it in his mind, I think, there, because he threw him to the turf.
Right.
Coach, I wasn't so sure that wasn't an attempt at an onside kick.
Well,
I think they were trying to drill that into a North player and trying to get the bounce off.
Could have been. I know they're probably trying to avoid that good speed back there of Warren and Winston and Gant. Well, we'll see what happens. All right, first down. Wildcats on their own 37-yard line, we'll say. Ben Graw under center. Here's the give to Warren, and he's pads low, and he's rolling. And that's a first down. He's going to pick up about 11 on the play.
Well, we talked, Coach, at the end of the first half that those two, meaning Gant and Warren, really need to come out and run hard. Regardless of what the score is, they need to put their stamp on this conference that they're the premier backs here, especially as a tandem. And you saw a good job by Warren there of making that statement.
That is true. First down at the 48-yard line of North. And they came out late in the second quarter and moved the ball down to the 3-yard line with a first and goal and didn't score. So we'll see how they move the ball here in the second half. Now we got a official's timeout, I believe. I think we got an equipment problem over there by one of the Burlington players.
It might be that blood rule again as well, Coach.
That's true.
You know,
That's
that
right.
happens when a player gets a cut here in the MAC. They have to leave the field until that gets taped up.
As in high school football rule. All right, here's the Gant to the left side. He's got a big opening, and he's down 40. He's got a lot of room here. And he's spinning and still on his feet, and a nice run there by Kerry Gant down to the 23-yard line of Burlington.
And that's the effort and heart, like I said, that scouts are looking for in Kerry Gant. He's got the size. Now does he have the effort and the heart, and you saw it on a run like that.
You bet.
One thing, as he's spinning, though, and we talked about it, spin with your legs and not your upper body, because the ball left his rib cage and it started to dangle there a little bit. And as you get tired, the ball's going to get lower and lower. Consequently, you have more and more likelihood to turn the ball over.
That's there's a kid that's just kind of gets about 5, and all of a sudden he's 10 yards down the field.
Yeah, it's an exciting runner.
All right, here's the give to Gant on the left side again, and he's hit hard by, and we've mentioned this name several times tonight, Zach Hall, one of the linebackers for Burlington.
Boy, Coach, I don't know if this conference has ever had more quality linebackers / fullback players that they have this year. You have Anthony Rodriguez at West as a young junior.
You bet.
You've got Hall here tonight at Burlington, Lee Russell, J.R. Kundert. You've
That's
got Ryan Herrig. I think every team has a very, very good fullback, and sometimes too deep.
Exactly right. Here's Graw, 2nd and 10. Here's the pitch now. Gant's got a lot of room out the right side, and I'll bet you he scores. Oh, man, we got a flag, and I saw a fist tone out there, I think, Rube, and I don't know who threw it, whether it was a blue shirt or a white shirt.
That's too bad, because that was an outstanding block by Joe Winston, the wide receiver.
It
was
really
blocking
was.
the corner for Burlington, gave Gant the edge, and that's the first time the sweep's gotten to the edge tonight for North. And you saw Gant's breakaway speed, and that is the way to run the football. He's running with heart right now, he and Warren both.
Okay, there's the personal foul against Burlington, and I just happened to see that. It was somebody really kind of threw a fist over there, and I'm surprised that really that he didn't get ejected from this ball game.
I agree. And if I'm North here, Coach, with that, I want to go for 2. And I'm saying that just putting my neck out on the line here because I'm still 2 scores down if I make this. If I kick an extra point here, it's just like having 6 points in my mind.
Well,
so this is a wasted point as far as I would be concerned.
You know how many? I don't know how many weeks we've been working together, Rube. It's the first time I disagreed with you, right?
All righty. That's fair enough.
Until I get another touch on the board, I want to get my point right now. I want to get my 7 solid points on, score again, and then worry about getting that 2 if I can hold them at 19. And that's exactly what they did here. So it's 19-7.
Well, fair enough, and I can agree with you there for the simple fact you want good things to happen.
Yeah.
And you don't want to have a missed extra point cost you there. But to me, I still look at things in scores, and that would have put us still at 2 scores.
That's right. You're right about that. Well, that was a nice run and a nice play by the North offense. Gant went, I believe Gant went 16. Was it 16 yards for the touchdown?
It looks like that's where the stakes are, Coach. And more times than not, those guys will stay there until the next kickoff.
Yep,
so that might be a pretty accurate assumption.
Why move them when they don't have to?
That's right.
So with 10:18 on the scoreboard left in the third quarter, now Burlington's lead is shortened to 19-7 after the 16-yard run by Gann around the right side, and that pretty play it was. Extra point was good by Andy Robinson.
And we talked about Warren as well blocking, and he's really a tailback blocking. Really threw a nice block there. And we talked about the block by Winston, the wide receiver, and really a nice job by North's offensive line to control the edge. We were discussing how North would adjust to the sweep and how Burlington would adjust to the sweep because the sweep had been going inside. It looks like Burlington tried to take the inside away, which cleared the outside, or at least that's how it appeared.
Exactly right.
And Gant was able to make a huge run and get North right back in this.
All right, here's the kick by Robinson, and it's taken by Dwayne Osborne at the 5-yard line. He's got a little running room there, but he's hit hard at the 30-yard line. And so Burlington will take over 1st and 10 at their own 30.
Coach, I talked about the block of Joe Winston there on the sweep, and Joe's 5'9", 155 pounds. On this last kickoff, if he were 5'10", 155 pounds, North would have gotten a huge fumble turnover right there. He had the ball from Osborne almost in his hands. Osborne was just able to shake it free, but almost an outstanding play by Winston.
The coaches tell me that Joe Winston is one of the fiercest hitters on this blue team, and I believe it. He's just got that I'm going to knock you.
He plays hard.
Mentality, I think.
He does play hard.
All right, 1st and 10, Burlington. Here's the give to, I believe it was Twilley off the left side. A little isolation play, and that's going to be about a yard gain, maybe.
Yeah, that's the same score same play Twilley scored on earlier in the first quarter. Simple isolation play inside, and really North's done a very good job. We talked with this countering and trapping offense.
They have, from tackle to tackle. They've done a nice job.
And especially because they only have 7 guys in the box, and their safeties are coming up and stopping the running game, which still leaves me a little play action deep later, maybe if Burlington needs it. Still up by 12. I don't think they'll go to that right now.
Exactly right. All right, here's Halen. Here's the little fake toss up the middle to Hall, and Hall's going to pick up about 8 yards on the play. Good run there. Nice little inside trap. Referee took a hit there, too.
Oh, he really did, and I think that was Adam Less. Just really nailed him. And we talked Adam Less is going to be in the running game because he's one of the safeties, he and Hollowell, and between the two of them, they're going to come up with some tackles tonight, and it's by design in this defense.
That's right.
This defense is designed to get your safeties in the running game, and he almost laid a big boom there. Unfortunately for the referee, it was to the referee's backside.
Yes, indeed. Okay, 3rd and 2. Halen under center, I formation. Here's the give to Twilley over the left side. He's got enough room for the first down and then some, up to about the Burlington 45-yard line, 1st and 10.
Boy, that's a play you love, Coach, because that's all line surge right there.
You bet.
There was really no key to running that ball. That was just all the left side of the Burlington's line, getting lower, harder, faster than the right side of the North's defense. So,
and that's just getting at it.
It really is, and that's just wanting it more.
Right. Mentioning Burlington's offensive line, we haven't given them any credit. Dwayne Hartman at center. Tackles are Sattler and Shaman, and the guards are Boughton and McClure. So we need to mention those guys. They're doing a good job.
They really are.
All right. Here's Halen. Back to throw, and the ball is tipped up and almost caught by the quarterback coming down. And that, I think if he'd have caught that, that would have been disastrous, the pass to himself.
I agree, and that would have been a huge loss. And, you know, one of the trivia questions, and it's an outstanding player in the NFL, Brett Favre, obviously two-time MVP.
Yeah.
His first completion in the NFL was to himself. And that's a rarity there. But we talked about how Bobby Warren's got to come up big both offensively and defensively. Yep. And we just saw him there rush the passer and almost create a big turnover for North. And we just saw also, we talked about North safeties getting in the running game. They were right next to the line of scrimmage there. So, once again, I can't help but think play action's coming soon for Burlington.
Exactly right. Here's the eye again. Here's Halen back. Here's the give to Twilley off the left side. Got a little bit of room. Shucks one tackler, and he's going to pick up a tough 4 yards over there probably.
And we talked, Coach, that would have been a 2-yard gain. Gant is the strong side safety, and the safeties have to make the off tackle or sweep plays in this defense for North, and he missed the tackle.
He did.
And that's something, if Gant can stop him, now you're looking at 3rd and 8. Right. Needless to say, it's an outstanding play by Gant to get in position, just has to wrap up next time.
That's right. Yep, wrap it up and take it down. 3rd and 5. Burlington just across midfield. Here's Halen under center. And he's dropping back to throw, but he gives to Twilley on a kind of a delayed draw, and Twilley is racked up by number 35 or 55, Derek Taylor. Nice play by Derek in there. Twilley went down hard.
Boy, and Derek's 6 foot 235, and he's a captain here for the North Wildcats. And when you hit him, you're not going forward.
You bet.
He's and you know what? You backward, and he
I'm going to give some credit to Ben Becker there, because I think Ben was in on that tackle too, and he's a tough kid. I know he is. All right, Burlington to punt. 4th and 4, back deep are Joe Winston and Kerry Gant for North. And here's the kick up and kind of wobbly to Winston, and he signals a fair catch, and it's taken at about the 22-yard line. 1st and 10, North Wildcats. 7:13 to go here in the 3rd quarter. 19-7 at Brady Stadium.
Well, and you have to feel that the momentum now is with North. They've scored on their opening drive of the second half. They just got a big defensive stop there. Although they do have to go the length of the field right here. If you're Ben Grawl, you give it to your horses in the backfield, being Gant and Warren, and you let them do the work. And the North offensive line is playing exceptionally well here in the last quarter or so, in the last 12 minutes. So
exactly right.
Let the Hogs go to work and let the big boys run you to pay dirt, and North can get right back in this thing.
Well, North is 2nd in the league in offense, and only by about 20 yards too, so they're right up in there. They can move the ball. Here's Gant to the right side on the ISO. Tough yard or two.
And it really is. And in his defense there, it looked like it wasn't much, and it looked like he tried to make a cut. But when your lead blocker just gets stuffed in the backfield, it's tough to make a cut either way. And he did a nice job of just getting 2 yards out of that.
Exactly right. Positive yards again. Here comes Joe Winston into the huddle with the play. That'll be 2nd and 8. The ball's at about the 19.
And this is a big drive for Ben Grawl. We've talked, he's been a little sporadic tonight, probably not his best night, and one he wants to forget. But this would be a truism in the MAC. You can still play poorly and win a game.
Exactly right. Here's the halfback pass by Gant, and just overthrown. And I believe it was there. Joe Winston had some running room down there.
He really did. And Burlington was backing it too deep. And I believe the safety for him was Matt Springsteen again. We've talked to him before when North tried to run the out and up. And North put 2 guys on him, which means he has to cover both of them. And then it's up to Gant to decide which one to throw to.
Exactly right.
He chose Winston inside, which was a correct decision, and just a little bit overthrown. Otherwise, North had a big play.
Exactly right. Nate Jacobs coming out, Bobby Warren going in. It's 3rd and 8 now on the 19. See what Coach Andy Bollock comes up with here. Mark Bloom, Chris Dilley on the sideline.
Well, Coach, this is where Ben Graw's got to come up big for you. And he called a timeout here to think it over, but you have to think it's going to be some type of play action, but he's really got to come up big for you here.
And something is, looks like maybe we have 10 men on the field here. 2, 4, 6. Yep. And one blue shirt was not in that time, so a little mental error here.
And you saw the disgust by Kerry Gant there, and he really has to keep that contained.
Right.
Those type of antics and things aren't going to help his team down by 12 here. I realize you're frustrated. I realize you're playing hard, running hard, and things aren't going your way, but you're not out of this.
That's right. Oh, by no means.
And the only way to rally is to keep your troops together, and those type of things can stay in the bus as far as I'm concerned.
And this team realizes that they have an explosive football team. They can score from anywhere and pretty quick like. So
exactly. And those same players are on defense. So obviously they have to have some type of explosive defense, as we saw Warren rush the passer. Not only is he running hard, but I'm sure he's going to get to the quarterback once or twice more tonight as well.
Exactly right. Okay, Andy's got him straightened around now, I think. Andy being Coach Bullock from North High School. We got 3rd and 8 with about 6:31 exactly on the clock.
And Ben Graw has to realize you're in third and 8, long yardage. You're not in good field position. Just take what the defense gives you, and live to punt.
Right, just a little dive off the right side to see if they could break it, and pretty safe play right there. A little bit conservative, but after all, they're inside their own 20-yard line too.
Well,
4th and 7.
I agree exactly, and we talked. It's probably not a night Ben Graw is going to look back on and save this tape or anything, but needless to say, a nice safe call, and it really doesn't put him in a situation where he can fail.
Exactly right.
Go ahead and hand the ball off. If you give it to a guy that's hot, fine. If not, let's punt it. Our defense is playing well. We'll get the ball back here still in the 3rd quarter.
You bet. Well, I'm sure it lurks in their mind a little bit about the block punt a while ago. Andy Robinson, nobody coming. Beautiful kick. And this is Osborne, I believe, way back downfield for Burlington, and that was a great kick by Andy Robinson. Dwayne Osborne lets it go out of bounds on about the 28-yard line, I'd say. Robinson booted that ball probably 55, 60 yards.
He really did, and it's kind of catch-22 if you're Burlington there. They had sent the block twice. The first one they got, the second one, I believe they forced him into a short kick. He kind of short-legged it. This time they wanted the return, thinking they were going to get the ball about the 40 and getting good field position. He ends up crushing the ball and kicking it over their head, so outstanding kick.
Yeah, Osborne and the Burlington coaching staff misjudging the depth of that kick. All right, now here comes Robinson off the field, and I think he made it. And we got to sweep the right side with Twilley, and he's going to get boxed in over there and brought down after about a 4-yard gain. And now we're probably going to have a late hit here. 2 flags coming in on the pile. So we'll see what this is all about. Preliminary signal holding Burlington.
Boy, that was an outstanding job by Tony Warren, the left corner for North. He held the play. He really couldn't make it immediately, but you've got Twilley coming at you, who's an exceptionally fast back. He held the play, just delayed it long enough that Adam Less, the safety, could get involved in the running game, forced the play back in, and was able to stop Twilley for a no-yard gain when there was literally something to be had there.
And Tony Warren is not slow by any means himself. Started the season off at quarterback, and now is just relegated to his cornerback spot. And we got a player down on the field with some leg cramps. Melissa Newalt, the head trainer for North, is out there working on that, and that is Bobby Warren.
I believe it just might be a cramp there, Coach.
Yeah,
either that or a hamstring or a calf cramp.
Yeah,
he's holding the toe. And
he's got a cramp.
It's a calf cramp.
Yep, and we'll stay with it.
And that's just a sign that Warren's playing hard tonight.
Yeah.
He's using up all his fluids, and he's laying it out on the line, and they're going to need him down this stretch run here in the 3rd quarter. And we talked about North's decision to give the ball off on a dive play back on 3rd and 8 when they had the ball, their last possession. And right now, with Burlington backed up to the 15 or 14 rather, it's really paying off because they have won the field position battle by a great punt by Robinson and now a penalty. So now Burlington looks at 1st and forever.
Exactly right.
Really this is a huge break, and I say a break, it's not one play, but it's a sequence of plays that ends up equaling a break.
You bet.
Throughout these last 3 or 4 plays.
It's kind of it's a momentum thing, I think is exactly what it is. And at any rate, 1st and 25 from their own 14-yard line. Here's Halen under center and dropping straight back to throw. A little swing pass out to Twilley, and it's overthrown.
Well, that's a nice job by Orlando Wade. He's inside. He's actually an outside linebacker in North's scheme of things. And in this defense, he is responsible for the back in the flat and really did a great job of getting to the flat, because if Twilley caught that ball, it's just another way of running the toss sweep, Coach.
That's right.
Only you take the defensive end out of the play and you let him get up the boundary. And I think unless Twilley would have done something exceptional, Wade was going to tackle him basically for a no-yard gain anyway.
I just call that a long handoff is what that is.
And that's what it is.
Yeah.
It truly is. It's just to get your back out into the flat one-on-one versus a linebacker or a strong safety.
Exactly right. All right, here's Halen again under center. Gives to Twilley to the left side. Not much there. Gant in pursuit, and Gant's going to push him out of bounds after about a 2-yard gain at Probably at about the 22-yard line.
Well, that was a great job by Delario Skipper and also Derek Taylor.
Sure was.
And we talk about these safeties for North. They are active in the run game. That is their first responsibility. And what the defensive line and linebackers' job is to do is to string the play out. And we saw earlier Bobby Warren did it at cornerback.
Exactly
string the play
right.
out, hold the play up enough to let the safeties come in and be the hitman. Because most offenses don't account for the safety in a blocking scheme. And if they can do that, you're going to see these safeties, Adam Less and Gant, you're going to see him have big tackles tonight and big hits because there's no one blocking him.
Exactly right.
So that was a great job of team defense by North right there.
Sure was. Good pursuit. Here's motion to the wide side. Halen dropping back, looking deep, and he's going to be smoked under. And the first man there was number 77 for North, and that's Brandon Wilson. We haven't seen Brandon tonight. A 6'3", 250-pound junior was all over him.
Oh, he really was. And what Burlington tried to do, they lined the slot up into the boundary. They tried to take Twilly and bring him in motion out here to the numbers, one-on-one versus Bobby Warren, which I think is in North's advantage. And they tried to throw a deep ball to him. Didn't get enough time off, and Brandon Wilson really just laid the boom on him. So once again, we talked about the field position war. Burlington's back up inside the 10, punting here to North. He's going to get the ball near the 50.
Should be good. And here's Gant calling for the fair catch at the 46-yard line, and great field position, 46-yard line at Burlington. So a pretty good punt there by Burlington, and that's going to be a first down. North with 3:48 to go in the third quarter.
And Coach, we talked, and not only was that a good call to run the dive on 3rd and 7 for North on the last possession, because also what you might notice is there have been 2 incompletions now, and there was basically no time that ran off the clock.
That's right.
So it's almost like you paid a minute to advance the ball 30 yards in field position.
That's exactly
right. That's a great trade-off, and I think any coach will do that when they're down by 12
points. And I think you got to look at it that way too. Okay, here's Graw breaking them out. Split backs. Here's the give to Gannett along the left side, and not much doing. Another one of those keep you honest type plays.
It really is, and Gann is a slasher and a cutter, and it seems like it takes him a couple steps to get a full head of steam.
Yeah.
And unless North gets the advantage immediately on the offensive line, it's tough for Gant to do that.
That's exactly right.
In that case, Burlington was able to establish a line of scrimmage and really didn't give Gant much room to run through.
No. Okay, second down, and we gave him a half yard there. Second, still about 10. Split backs formation. Here's the quick pitch to Bobby Warren, and he got a block out there, and Hall, one of the linebackers, is Zach Hall, has been all over the field tonight and did a good job defending that play.
He really did. And, Coach, we talked about the sweep and the adjustment Burlington was going to make. Now, once the ball was tossed, Hall turned and sprinted to the sweep. So remember in the first quarter, we talked about the sweep, and then they ran a fullback dive back across.
That's right.
It should be coming soon, because if the onside linebacker is running that hard to the sweep, there's going to be a huge hole over your onside guard.
Exactly right. Looking for the toss trap.
Exactly.
All right, third and about 11, about a 2-yard loss on the play. Here's the trips formation, single set by Gant. Here's a screen play development, and Warren has got it. Oh, and that was close. I'll tell you what, I'm going to give some credit to Brandon Wilson there. He almost made a block. He was just a little bit late, couldn't hang on to the block, and the defender grabbed Bobby around the leg.
It really is, and that defender was Brandon Niffen, and to tackle Warren around his ankles like that is a pretty doggone good play, especially when, once again, I think that screen had some running room.
I do too, and again, I don't think the execution by Graw was real good there, and I'm not going to sit here and cap on the young man, but I think you got to come back, you got to set up, and then you got to give some more ground. And
I agree. He's just giving too much ground too quick, and then we don't know if he's being coached that either.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
And he's just giving way too much ground too early. He's got to come back to set up the screen a little more to sucker to the defense and then deliver the ball.
Another good kick by Andy Robinson is going to put Burlington back on their own 13-yard line. Fair catch given. Great coverage down there by number 33. I think that's Nate Jacobs. And fair catch signaled, and it'll be first down. Burlington on their own 12-yard line.
And if you're Coach Bullock, Coach, you've got the ball inside the 50. Things didn't go your way, but now Burlington starts inside the 15. If I'm Coach Bullock, I'm still putting the pressure on the Greyhounds.
You bet.
You still need to convince your kids that, hey, we're still the hammer right now.
That's right.
We still have momentum, and we're still the ones putting it to them. Now, if they can stuff them again, chances are your offense has a better chance to score.
I agree completely. Here's Halen. First and 10. Little toss trap by there to Zach Hall, and he's got a lot of room coming out to the right side. And Tony Warren's going to bring him out of bounds at about the 40-yard line. And a good job by Hall there, kicking it to the outside.
Oh, it really was. And he showed a lot of speed for a fullback. And we talked about the fullback class here in the MAC. And he just did an outstanding job of getting to the sideline and running down the field. And he's a senior fullback. And you're going to turn to his senior leadership here when you're trying to chew the clock up by 12 on the road.
You bet. It looks like Delario's skipper shaking up on the play. They're taking a look at him out there. So at this point, we'll take just a little break. Okay. We're back at Brady Street. 1st and 10. Delario skipper comes off the field on his own. Burlington, after a nice run by Zach Hall, here's the give to Osborne, a wingback, and he's going to pick up about 5 yards up to 45-yard line.
And this is a nice job by Burlington getting out of the hole. We talked, North is still putting the pressure on. They still had the momentum, and now Burlington's trying to lethargically take that away. And it's up to North nearing midfield here to get a big stop if they can and get the ball back to their offense.
Exactly right. Okay, we got a new tackle in the game here, number 78, Justo Lopez. Robert McCready in. 2nd and 4. Here's the give to Twilley off the left side, and he's going to be close to a first down. We got a flag coming in toward the pile, normally where a hold might be called. And it is, and that's going to be a 10-yard penalty from that spot, so that helps.
Yeah, that'll make it a 2nd and 14. And that's been tough for Burlington to overcome tonight. Their passing game, they really haven't done much in it. Of course, they haven't had to.
Yeah, it's true.
And really, their biggest plays that they've had other than the first quarter have been the inside trap to Zach Hall. And as we see Zach Hall right now limping off the field. So I wonder if that's fatigue or if he actually is banged up a little bit.
Yeah, they might be a little bit of both. At this point, he does go both ways, and he plays hard both ways.
Yeah, he sure does. And you can see his uniform is, I know they're silver to begin with, but his uniform's turning to dark gray, which means he's on the ground quite a bit tonight.
That's right, especially on this field, which is starting to deteriorate week by week, big time.
Yeah,
and we're just lucky we haven't had any rain this fall. This thing turns into a real mess.
Exactly, and this is an outstanding high school facility. It's unfortunate there are just too many games played on the field.
All right, 2nd and about 13 it appears. Here's the give to Twilley to the left side, and he's going to have a foot race out there, and he's brought down pretty hard by someone, and now we got a late hit to the far side, and that's going to be on Burlington also, so that's going to be a personal foul. Tony Warren, the whistle had blown, and the block was thrown.
Yeah, that's just not a call that you need from the Burlington standpoint at that point. You know, the kid's playing hard, and I'm sure there's a lot of jawing going on, and and they're competing, and I'm sure there's R-rated language being used all night long. But that's just, you need to be a heads-up player there. When you're up by 12 and you're trying to take the momentum back from the home team, those penalties just really aren't using your head.
All right. Well, we haven't had anything marched off yet, but I'm sure this is going to be a personal foul and a 15-yard penalty, so it's going to remain 3rd down, but it's going to put Burlington back to about 3rd and 42,000 for a first down.
And we talked about Zach Hall being able to break through the North's defensive front, but really Twilley, other than the first series, hasn't really done a whole lot.
They've shut him down pretty good, no doubt about it. Okay. Just about 5 seconds on the clock, and we're not going to get another playoff, and the quarter is going to end. And that's the end of the 3rd quarter, and Burlington leads Davenport North here at Brady Street Stadium tonight at this time 19-7, and we'll be back. Starting 4th quarter action here at Brady Street Stadium on a Thursday edition of Friday Night Football, if that makes any sense. TJ Rubley, our excellent commentator here and play analyst, and Jess Medina on the camera, and I'm Cy Robinson, and we're having some fun. And
Coach,
this is a pretty good ball game in the second half.
It is. Coach, you're 0-2 kind, but as you said, it is a great ball game. And it's North finds himself down 19-7, but actually they dominated the third quarter.
They did. I thought they did too. Okay. Halen under center. Here comes a student body left, and he's got some room out here. This is Dwayne Osborne, and a pretty good defensive play there by DeMar Johnson. And the coaches again. Here's another kid that coaches tell me is one of the 3 fierce hitters they got on the team is DeMar Johnson. He made a nice play there.
He really did. It really made an outstanding play. Stayed home, and that was kind of a new intricate, I guess. Somewhat of an innovative type play for Burlington. And Burlington, they almost have to watch it here. They don't want to show too much because they're up 19-7. They don't want to show too much for the next game, but they got to watch it here because this North team has momentum and they're playing pretty well.
Yep, and North only has 10 men on the field. And here's the punt, and it's around Gant, and he's going to get away from it, and it's going to take a Burlington bounce down to about the 21-yard line, and somebody was not in for the North Wildcats on their punt receiving team. So
and
they'll get that straightened out.
Yeah, and that's something, Coach, we've seen all night. Yeah. I think they've had a couple mistakes on their special teams, and that's just a sign of guys getting tired and young guys, and maybe there are some injuries throughout the week that new guys are playing new positions, and girlfriends get you in trouble on that, and all kinds. You don't do well on a test. And now you're not thinking about special teams, and special teams at the high school level is usually thought of as something almost a waste of time, or, oh, coach, do I really have to do that?
Oh yeah,
but it's really 25 to 30% of the game.
I think so too.
And you can win or lose games, and we've seen it time and time again here in the MAC. The special teams are so very important.
It's important. All right, here's a give to Bobby Warren on the left side. He's got some room, and he's going to make it up to about the 31-yard line, be close to a first down.
And that was a nice run.
Yeah, it was.
Very good run, Coach. And once again, it's that instead of running the sweep now, it's just a little off tackle, really hit the hole hard, running very good, running very hard, playing good football. And we talk. Those are the type of things that North needs to do to try to get to within 5 points here to try to make it 19-14.
You bet. And we're going to have a measurement here. It's going to be real close to where they spotted the ball. It looked like he had the first down, but the spot was not conducive to the first down. We got about a second and a foot for a first down, so basically we can waste it down.
Yeah, I agree with you. And if Ben Graw, with the throwing abilities that he has, even though he's struggling, I wouldn't mind throwing the ball up here. Let's go a little play action and try to isolate your man one-on-one. And I don't want to, don't throw it out and up. Let's just throw it one-on-one. And Burlington's going to line up in a 2-deep coverage, but I don't think their safety can get there from where his alignment is.
Exactly right. And Robert McCready on the left side got a little anxious there, and it's going to cost him 5.
Yeah, that's something from North you don't need. We talk about good things happening to you, and you can't use up too many favors when you're down by 12, and that's exactly one that they've just wasted. So those are things that one thing, if I can give any suggestion to Ben Graw, what he can do is sometimes it helps when guys are tired going both ways to give a visual, and by that I mean hold up 2 fingers if you're going on 2, because not only do you hear it, but you see it as well. And
excellent idea.
And sometimes when your linemen are tired and they're huffing and puffing, they don't catch the 2 because they're in mid-breath. And they don't quite hear through the helmet and the earpieces and everything else. So if you give a visual, sometimes that helps.
All right, 2nd and 6. Here's Graw giving to Gant, and he's going to be snatched up with about a yard gain. And that's going to bring up 3rd and about 5.
Yeah, 3rd and 5, Coach, and this is the first real key 3rd and 5 Ben Graw has faced tonight.
I think so too.
At 19-0, it wasn't a big deal, but dominating the 3rd quarter, now you're within 2 scores or 2 touchdowns. You really need to come up big and find some of that hot hand that he had against North Scott, and really this is a key down for him here.
It is. I think it's a key down for North High School. Let's see what happens. Here's the reverse, fake reverse, and he's got some room out here. Here's great block by Bobby Warren. Here's Gant.
3 of them.
Up around the Burlington 47-yard line. And you tell him about it.
Bobby Warren, God love you. You led the ball on the sweep fake reverse. You just literally blew up a corner.
He did.
Not only did he knock a corner on his back, but went on to block a safety into another corner. And an outstanding job. I mean, it's a really outstanding job. And we talked about placing the weight of a team on your shoulders. We said those 2 had to do it. They really did on that play right there, and really need more of it here in the 4th quarter. Outstanding play by both backs there.
Good play call there by Coach Bullock, too. I like it. Here comes Gant to the left side, running hard, and he's still on his feet. Oh, my, they blow it dead.
can't call him down.
They blew it dead.
Oh, you can't call him down. Take the ball into the end zone, Gant.
No, they blew it dead. He can't now. Well, I tell you what, I'm going to call that an inadvertent whistle. We got some flags, a face mask, and Gant never was brought down and never was stopped.
Well, and I don't think the guy stopped on the whistle. I think he was through the pile, and then the whistle was blown.
I agree with you. And they're going to get 15 yards for the face mask, but it should be 6 points.
Oh, I agree. And he was off to the races with a good head of steam. It wasn't like he trickled out of that pile. He was coming out of that pile rolling pretty good.
Oh.
Boy, that's a break that goes against North, but needless to say, if your breaks, you're still getting 15 yards. So
you bet.
Still take this momentum and move forward.
And wait till I see my good friend George Teen in the back, Judge. I'm going to give him some razz on that one. Okay, first down on the Burlington 30. Here's a little fake dive. Here's to Warren over the right side. Got a little room. Takes it down to about the 23-yard line, and that didn't look like it was going to be much at start.
Well, I was just going to say, and that's what made that run by Bobby Warren even more impressive, because it was very lethargic. The ball work in the backfield was very lethargic. Really didn't give Warren much room, and he once he got the ball, planted his right foot and headed north and south.
Right.
One thing I like about the North backs from the second quarter on, they're not dancing anymore. They're not looking for holes. They're making their own holes.
They're getting at it.
And we talked about that.
Yep.
And they're making the statement that these two as a tandem are the best in the MAC.
You bet.
And they really are running hard.
All right, here's Graw. Here comes a sweep left to Gant. Not much room, and he's going to be smoked out there. And there's Zach Hahn, and I think we're going to have another face mask or something.
Might very well be, and that was an outstanding job by Burlington. That's the first time they were able to defense a sweep both outside and inside.
Right.
And that's a key adjustment for them. If they can bottle that one and sell it for the rest of the game, they're going to give North fits.
Exactly right. Well, that flag come flying in there. Two defenders, Zach Hall was one of them, had Gant all bound up in there, I guess, and now I guess we're going to get a holding call, aren't we?
Yeah, and that's unfortunate for North, because they had good things happening to them. Only positive, it's still second down, and they still need to make some plays, and we know Gant and Warren both can break a big play here, but if Burlington can show they can stop that sweep, now unfortunately for Ben Graw having a tough night, the onus is going to fall on him to start making some plays here.
All right, 2nd and 20. Here's Graw back to throw. Here's the look in to Les, and he didn't quite find the handle on it. Ball was kind of thrown high and outside.
It really was, and then Graw needs to get back, set his feet, and take his time and hit the open receiver. I think now we saw earlier he threw a fade route in the first series of the game, or one of the first series of the game. Got his feet too quick and let go of the ball too quickly, and he's just not comfortable, just not in a rhythm.
Right.
He needs to get his feet set first, get the elbows high, and let go of the ball accurately, because he can throw the ball and throw it very well.
He's got a strong arm. He's a good baseball player.
He really does. He's just not letting his body give him a chance at this point.
Okay, here's Graw dropping back. 3rd and 20, and he's going to be smoked under no time. And that is big number 72 for Burlington. Let me get a name on it. Brian Sattler, 6'2", 270, and he was back there pretty fast.
Boy, and he was. And, Coach, it's so hard from a young quarterback standpoint, and I've had it happen to me at every level. It's so hard when the floodgates are open and you're not playing particularly well. It's so hard to turn it around and get something good happening. And right there, we just saw Ben Graw take, I believe, his 3rd sack of the night, and really a tough night for him. I don't think he had much going on. He had an out and up, which is a long developing route, but really a tough time for him. And here in the 4th quarter, he really needs to just try to settle down, try to get some good conservative throws in, and give a late run for his team here.
Good kick by Andy Robinson. That ball is going to take a north hop and fall dead on about the 10-yard line. So now the defense needs to come alive, make something happen, maybe cause a fumble, whatever.
They really
at least 4 and out.
They really do. And Coach Bullock's done a great job with this North team in the second half. They really, I would say from 7 minutes on in the second quarter, have really dominated this game. They just haven't been consistent enough to get the points on the board they need to take the lead.
Exactly right. Okay, Burlington takes over on their own just across the 10-yard line. There's 7:19 to go. A score, Burlington 19, Davenport North 7. And this has been a good half of football here. Only been one score in the half by North High. Here's Halen under center. Here's the give to Osborne, the wing back, and he's got some room. And he's going to bring it out to the 25-yard line. Finally brought down by number 83, Eric Hollowell, I believe. Yes,
And we talked about North safeties. They have to get in the running game.
They do.
And unfortunately, I don't think the defense is designed to get in the running game 12 yards down the field.
Yep.
They'd like to get up around the line of scrimmage, but just a nice, awful nice run by Osborne there. And we've talked about Burlington in the second half, actually from the third quarter or first quarter on, they really haven't been too creative in their play selection because I don't think they want to show too much for their next game. But needless to say, I think they have to really focus and get a first down here.
Exactly right. Twilly got a little bit of room, hit hard in there, about a 3-yard gain.
And we talked about that lack of creativity, Coach. I think if they keep this up, they're just going to let North back in the game.
Yeah.
Now it's whether North's going to have enough clock to do anything with it. But needless to say, I still think you need to keep your play action passes in, at least your simple ones, the ones you've been running since day one, and at least spread the ball around. Because right now North's bringing all 11 right up by the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, they're trying to force something to happen.
They really are. And Twilly doesn't have much room to run.
All right, second and 6 here. I guess that's wishful thinking maybe. Here's Halen under center, motion by Osborne. It's the same play they ran a while ago to give him some room, but North took care of it that time. And I did not see the fumble. Jess says it's a fumble, and that's a blue shirts football. There's the break we're talking about.
Exactly right, and Osborne's down, I think, I believe that's Osborne. Adam Less, we talked about the North safeties. Gant came on the blitz. I believe it was Gant came on the blitz. Osborne or Less was able to come over and make a huge play and cause the fumble, and really a break North needed. And we talked about lack of creativity for Burlington. You can't fault them there. They had a good play going, but laid the ball on the carpet on the road once again.
Exactly right.
Go ahead, Coach.
Excuse me. I'm just going to say, we saw the Burlington Classic play is 1 man through, 2 man through. Here comes a short mo man, give it to him, and you get your gainer. You get your 12-yard gainer, and that's what Burlington. I haven't seen Burlington run that a whole lot tonight, but every time they have, it seems like it's been a good play. That was a disaster there.
It was a disaster, and actually the hole was there. He just didn't hang on to the ball.
Right. Okay, we've got a man down here, so we're going to take a little break. Okay, Rube, we're back, and that is Dwayne Osborne, the fine wingback for Burlington, and he must have got decked pretty good because I think he's a little woozy. We were worried about it being a shoulder injury or something, but just got his bell rung, and he walked off under his own power, and we're happy about that.
Yeah, we are, and he is Burlington's right corner, too, so it'll be interesting to see if North can try to exploit that.
Okay. Oh, and there's a fumble from center, and Burlington has the ball back. And that's probably, I'm going to attribute it. We got a flag over here, and we'll find out what this flag is about. It looks like it's not going to make any difference. We had a motion penalty on North, and I'm going to attribute that fumble to the time the kids stood there waiting on the play.
I agree, and then there's a lot of truth to that, and whether the ball came up later, the quarterback pulled out, needless to say, there's no harm, no foul, but that's something North just didn't need at this time.
That's right. Turned the ball right back over again.
Yeah, the huge break that they needed to get back in this game, and now it's up to their defense. They're still not out of it. We keep saying it, and I don't want to be naive by saying it, but you're still not out of it.
I agree with you completely. We saw one last week where the same thing happened. 6:05 on the clock. Burlington 1st and 10 on their own 35. Here's Halen under center, gives to Twilly off the right side, and he ran hard there.
He really did.
I guarantee you. Derek Taylor finally brought him down.
And you have to applaud Adam Less. Adam Less is a safety for North, and he's 6'1", 170 pounds, which isn't a bad size for a safety in high school. But he's had to come up and, by design in their defense, make plays on running backs. And he has come up on all 3 of their running backs time in and time again all night and really making very good hits, and he's playing his heart out.
I agree. Clock's running. 2nd and 4. Ball's on the, 41-yard line. Here's the quick pitch out to Twilly to the left side. Got a blocker in front of him, and he won't get a first down here. Pretty good pursuit by the Wildcats there. Delario Skipper at the bottom of the pile, and it'll be close to a first down, but it'll be 3rd and about 1.
Once again, and what Burlington tried to do there is spread a wide receiver out to try to widen the North defense. But by design, those North safeties aren't going to leave the middle of the field. They're going to stay, both of them, inside the hashes, and they're going to stay basically where the alignment of the offensive tackles are. And their job is, if you spread that ball out at all, if you run into the lanes, they're going to come up and hit you. They're just not blocked unless you bring a receiver down, and then the corner will follow and he'll be unblocked.
Indeed.
So by design of this defense, these safeties are going to make plays around the ball.
All right, here is, don't know who for Burlington, but he'll have a first down easily up across the 45 to about the 47-yard line.
I believe that's number 27, Coach. That's Trent Cooperman. He's Zach Hall's replacement.
All right.
Zach stumbled off in the 3rd quarter, we noticed. Right. And that's going to be a big loss for Burlington, both offensively and defensively. Hopefully it's just something that won't last for too long.
It sure is, although Cooperman looked pretty good there.
Sure did.
Running the football for that first down. He knew what he had to do. So 40 on the 47-yard line of Burlington, 1st and 10. Here's Halen again. And it's the fake toss again, toss trap, and I'm going to pick up about 4 on it.
Well, that's a nice job by the Burlington offensive line. There are 11 men within 3 yards of the line of scrimmage right there, and they really just don't have enough offensive players to block all of the North defensive players, and yet they're still getting 4 yards. So now I think Burlington's offensive line is just starting to take over here a little bit late in the 4th quarter.
Mainly concerned here, Coach Pleen, I believe, just mainly concerned just eating the clock up, about 3:45 to go.
Sure, and I think he's been concerned with that since the 2nd quarter, Coach. As we've noticed, he hasn't been too creative in the play selection, which, why would you when you know you have people scouting you?
Yep. Okay, here is Twilly along the right side, got room, and he takes it down to about the 30-yard line of North.
And that's the first time that Twilly has been able to break through the interior of the North defense since the 1st quarter. And we saw there, and once again by design, the safeties here at North are supposed to make tackles. And the reason why Twilly was able to get some extra yardage is because Adam Less, one of the few times tonight, he wasn't able to come up with a stop. But really, all in all, he's played a very, very good game. And really, the North defense has done a great job of containing Twilly other than the 1st quarter run.
Okay, 1st and 10. The ball is on the North 30. Again, a lot of blue shirts in the box, as they say. And here's a little inside trap to, is this Cooper again? Yes, it is, I believe.
I believe that's Cooperman again, Coach.
Cooperman,
And there are 11 guys inside the box, as you said. And once again, credit Burlington's offensive line. They're manning up, just trying to block whoever they see, because there really aren't any rules when you get that many men in the box. And they're opening holes for the Burlington backs. And I think now North has got themselves in a 19-0 hole, and they were fighting hard, putting it all on the line, and I think it's just catching up to them a little bit.
I agree. And we got a measurement here for 1st. It's going to be real close. It's one of those about a finger length from being a first down.
I agree. And Coach, it's amazing when you're at the high school level, and any level for that matter, when you're laying it all on the line, you're fighting. It seems like it's an uphill battle. If good things happen to you, you can turn the corner.
That's right.
But if you turn the ball over and you have key miscues, it's so hard to keep that tank full, because it's just so very tough to fight fatigue at that point.
And you got to really, get in the, quote, the red zone. You got to put some points on. All right. We got a new wing back, and he dribbles the ball. A pretty good dribble. He must be a basketball player.
That a rugby player.
Karasirik, I'm going to call him. The wing back got the ball on that play and fumbled it, and it came right back up to his hands.
It really did. And Coach, you talked about getting the ball in the red zone and making things happen if you're North. And Burlington did enough things tonight that gave North a chance to win. They came here on the road, and they turned the ball over twice. Now, they did get the block punt, but they did turn the ball over twice, and you think on the road that'd be enough to get you beat. Fortunately enough for them, North wasn't able to capitalize, and they've turned the ball over twice as well, so actually 3 times. And it's just been tough for the Wildcats tonight.
Exactly right. All right, here's Halen on a little counter play to Twilly, and Twilly's got some running room over to the right side, and he'll get about 8 out of it. And Burlington, I think, right at this point is content just to run the clock down, although Twilly, who gets a little room to run, he's going to run it.
Yeah, he will.
Yeah.
And you can see he sets up his blocks well, and he makes people miss. Hey, they've run him inside tackle to tackle, and North's done a great job up until this last drive of really containing him, other than the big run in the first quarter we talked.
Exactly right.
But really, he's been silent from the first quarter to the fourth. Now he's showing that he's an outstanding back and taking over in the fourth quarter, and really credit his line because they've seized the challenge blocking 11 men for North every play.
Exactly right. Well, we got a timeout on the field, so we're going to take just a short break. Okay, TJ, we're back, and 1:45 to go in the game. 19-7. Burlington is leading Davenport North, and it's second and about 3. And here comes motion and a give to Cooperman, and he almost gets across the goal line. The ball's going to be down on about the 1.
That's a great run by Cooperman.
Sure.
It seems like we talked about some of these teams in the MAC, how they have great fullbacks.
You bet.
Some teams have too. Well, Cooperman as a junior is showing that he's an outstanding backup for the senior in Hall. So it doesn't seem like they're going to lose much once Hall graduates.
Right.
He seems like he can carry the rock, and then he's doing a great job of blocking, as we've seen here in the fourth quarter, this fourth quarter drive of Burlington's.
And you just know Cooperman's been sitting back there just waiting for his chance, and he's taking advantage of it.
Yep.
Okay, Twilly at the tailback here. Ball's on the 1, get a give to Twilly, and he's going to score, but there's a flag on the play, and that might be a motion call. It looked like Twilly was moving.
I think he got the jump start. You know, I mean, you can get that rolling start sometimes at track practice, but not when you're down at the goal line.
That's right, and that's exactly what the call is going to be, and we can see that from up here. So, and Burlington, who cares? I mean, Twilly cares because he scored, but it hurts him in the stats a little bit, but that's going to bring it back to about the 6-yard line, and it's going to be first and goal still with 1:13 on the clock in the fourth quarter.
And that might have been one of those blessings there too, Coach, because we saw last week an oddity that a touchdown ended up hurting West.
It did.
Now, I know when you're up by 3 touchdowns, that might not be the case, but in this case, I don't care if I'm ahead, and we were ahead this spring against Amsterdam by 18. I like to have the ball on the field when I'm done. I don't want to let my defense go back out there. So that penalty, from my standpoint as a quarterback, doesn't hurt me at all because I know I can manipulate the clock all the way down. And,
you bet.
And we can get out of here without any injuries.
You bet. Well, here's the give to fullback Cooperman, and he might have got a tough yard on the play, and now referees North is going to call timeout here with 59.4 seconds on the clock. And Andy Bullock wants to chat with his defense down there a little bit.
And a lot of fans would say, and I caught myself saying it too, Coach Bullock, why are you calling a timeout? You're down by 2 touchdowns. But I tell you what, when you're Coach Bullock and you're getting the team turned around and you're trying to get a winning attitude and you're trying to get all the things going, you have to show them the way to do it. And by that I mean the right way to do it. He's calling and he's coaching this game as if this were a 3-point game.
That's
and his
right.
defense needed a big stop, and that trickles down through the program.
It does.
I know, Coach Robinson, when you retired, there's obviously an adjusting period at North, and you need to try to reinstill the things that you've implanted there. And obviously Coach Bullock needs to do them in his own way.
Yeah, and he had a couple of tough years to start out with. I think he won 1 game in 2 years. When this by all rights should be Andy's year because he's got some good kids this year, and they're fighters. They're going to win some football games. There's no question.
Yeah, and he's a fighter as well. Like I said, he's fighting to the end and coaching like he would if it were a tight game.
Better believe it. Here's Twilly on the toss, and he's going to score over the right side. Gant might have had a chance to make the tackle out there but didn't do it, so it's here nor there. It's another touchdown.
Right, it's an outstanding job by Twilly finding the end zone. He made Gant miss, like you said, and was able to dive into the end zone from about 3 yards out. So really an outstanding run by Burlington, and that's really the first sign of life we've seen from them since the first quarter.
It is. That's right. That's the only thing they've done this half score-wise, and now Burlington will try the extra point. And Justo Lopez a little bit anxious to block this one.
I believe that was DeMar Johnson as well, trying to come in off the edge. He was going to try to block it. DeMar, most of the time, if you're going to block a right-footed kicker, you have to come from his right side. And that's just a rule of thumb that I've picked up along the way.
Right.
And that's just, I've held for kickers and just listened to the special teams coach's coach. I picked that up along the way, that the best chance to block is from his right, because if he's going to miss it more times than not, he's going to push it.
Exactly right. And the point after is good. And that makes the score 26-7 Burlington. And that touchdown really didn't make or break anything. It just gave Twilley a few more stats. And speaking of Twilley, Ephraim Twilley is just an excellent running back for Burlington, and he came in here tonight on the rushing second in the league, and he's just a tenth of a yard off leading the league in yards rushing. So we know that he's a fine running back. Lee Russell is the only person, Lee Russell from Assumption, the only person ahead of him in the stats. So
right. Well, and
so great running back.
Exactly. And if you're Twilley, you're saying if my starting quarterback got hurt the first 2 games, I might have 100 more yards as well.
That's true.
And we talk about Lee Russell, and once again, take your hats off to him. He's an outstanding player. He really carried that Assumption team through those first 2 games and guided them to a 1-1 record. And you know, Twilley's a fine back, and he and Halen, the quarterback for Burlington, I'm sure make a good tandem, as well as Osborne. And we saw Zach Hall runs the ball incredibly tough. So
exactly right.
Burlington seems to have some good skilled players.
They certainly do, and year in and year out they will.
I love you boys, but I miss y'all.
Appreciate that. All right, here's the kick. Joe Winston receiving, and he's got a couple of people in front of him and hit pretty hard at about the 28-yard line. So it'll be first down, and we'll have about 45 seconds left in the game.
Well, that's one of the pleasures I get, Coach. You know, for the fans out here and the viewers, I get to work next to a legend here in high school football around the state. And anytime you get a former player and a former very, very good player stop by to say hello, sometimes we're going to listen and pay attention. There's a joke or two made, and that's the fun part about this whole thing. And can't say enough about you, Coach Robinson. You've done so much for high school football in this area, and it's great you're continuing it here on the air, because what better way to get these kids exposure both to the fans and to the scouts.
I think this is great.
I do too. Yep. I think it's outstanding.
And we got to hand it to Jess Medina and Family Ties Production for doing that. And here's Graw rolling out and kind of overthrew Bobby Warren on the place, and that'll be incomplete, and that'll stop the clock with 39 seconds left. Yeah, it's fun to see the old guys. Bruce Bibbs played for North years back. Just an excellent football. I see Kelly Gant in the crowd here. Of course, its brother Kerry is a fine running back for North, and Kelly was an awfully fine football player himself. So
exactly. And Coach, I don't know if many people know this, but you look around the MAC conference itself, and the guys that you've coached with and had under you. Jerry Teal's the head coach at Muscatine.
You bet.
Al Blocker, defensive back coach at West. You've got Mark Schlichting as well. I believe he's over at Central. So you've got a ton of coaches, and that's a true testament that you've been a great coach and a great influence, that they can go on and have success other places as well.
This is what it's love for teaching and coaching. It never ends. So, and it's just the way it is, I guess.
Yeah, and it's an outstanding profession. It pays not only through the paycheck, but also in gratitude.
Right. That's right. Here comes Gant around the right side and kind of gingerly goes up across the line of scrimmage, and he is a little slow getting up.
Get up, Kerry. Get up.
Come on, Kerry. That's right. The
last 3 quarters.
This is a 26-7 injury, and I'm sure he'd like to see the clock stop here, or the clock go on here.
And I'd like to see him get up for the simple fact that he and Warren both, since the second quarter on, have established themselves as fine, tough, hard-running backs.
You bet.
And you'd like to see him leave the field that way, not limping. You'd like to see him leave the field, if he's going to limp, come out with your shoulders held high because you fought like a warrior.
Indeed. And he's off the field. Looks like he might be a little cramped up down there. This ought to do it. The clock has started, 5 seconds and running, and they'll get this play off. Graw back to throw. Throws the fade, and it's going to be incomplete to Nate Jacobs down the right side. And a pretty good effort, I thought, by North High School. I thought, Rube, I'm just going to give you my comments, and I'm going to allow you to comment. I thought North looked a little flat tonight in the opening of the game. Obviously, they probably were, but came to life in the second half.
I agree, and I think their offensive line, their defense as a whole played very well, other than the big play early. I just think for North, Ben Graw had a rough night, and it was very tough for them to overcome that, especially giving up points early with a block punt and the long run. So the miscues early got them in a hole, and when you get in a hole, you need your quarterback to throw you out. And what happened is Gant and Warren both were running well in the sweeps, but you can only go to that well so often, and you need to run some play action off it. And Ben Graw just really had a tough night, and it's probably his first truly tough night as a young quarterback. And the only thing I can say to him personally is learn from it, come back, fight, and don't be intimidated, and don't get down. Some of your teammates are going to be mad at you, but other ones are going to pick you up.
You bet.
Come back next week, be a warrior, fight, and put up your 250 yards on the board again.
And I think North High School, you know, you talk about chemistry, and I think this group of kids has a good chemistry. I'm around them enough to know that, and know that they are very friendly with each